And we're back! We're live! Hello, everybody! And conveniently, the song ended, so that was timed perfectly, on purpose. Hello, everyone! We are Esthara Chronicles. I am your humble dungeon master, Sylfania, and we have Mads playing Bax Obsidian, we have Danny playing Sildana Markuth, and we have Gabe playing Fervorand Dickens. I believe this is our 5th episode. Unlike how I said last time, I thought it was a 5th episode. It just felt like it with all of Mads' jokes. It felt
it's gonna be like that today. Let me tell you.
All of my jokes. What do you mean?
I would like to clarify. He didn't make any jokes. He was the joke.
Yeah, I was
Indeed,
about to say.
that
This
he
game
was.
life is a joke.
Let me... Ooh, thanks to
He brought in the tactical reload last time.
Yes, let me
Imperatori.
change something real quick.
Oh, Vila
Thanks for
subscribed.
the sub, bro.
That's Vila.
Yep, I know.
Hey, boy.
Alright,
Hey.
Yeah, but
I've edited something. Should work now. Cool, right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. And we are back to our 3 adventures and their trip to Laudenborough. So, in the previous episode, was a continuation of their... Actually, the beginning of their 2nd day in this city. We started with a little bit of background for Bax and his family, about his mom and how she's got it going on. There was a lot of shenanigans going on with the fact that
Reloading.
Bax came back on the first day when everybody else went to bed, debriefed his parents on what was going on, had a very long conversation and basically got found out that he, couldn't be trusted with a lot of information. And your mother told you to just let it be and do not stick your head out. She'll handle it from now on.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't be trusted with the end of a broom.
True.
if you think about it,
On the other hand,
like his
Fervorand...
dad got pegged.
Dirty.
Yeah. Fervorand had a very leisurely breakfast, had a great sleep, went to the Big Hand Inn to observe people arm wrestling while not participating. There was a lot of silent observation and judging, and he caught up with one of the guards and decided to follow her on her rounds, and she was more than happy to oblige. And at this point, Sildana decided to do her church shit. So she
Yeah.
went to the church, decided to do
I've been
church
keeping
shit.
it pretty simple. That's what I've just been doing.
Yeah. So basically, you went to the church to do the mass, the midday mass, and that brought a lot of personal memories to you, and recollections about your own life and your own family and how that affects you. And that is actually, and after that you went to go make some candles for 3 hours. And that is
Exciting.
Exciting times. Last episode was so exciting. It's way more fun than you think. Check it out on YouTube. It's actually fun. I just had a really bad what happened last time.
Now, listen,
Bad recollection.
a lot of stuff might not have happened, but the few stuff that did, they were great.
Oh no, yeah, it was brilliant.
It's
There
all a
were
fever
some
dream at this point.
Indeed, there were some how do I put this? There were some choice jokes right there.
Very choice, let me tell you.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Right? Cool.
Yep. Let's do it again.
I did it again. I've done it twice. Music bot! I've done it twice. Do I loop it? What do I do? There you
This
go.
is looping it, and
Thank
then you
you.
need to cue it again so it plays between the two.
Right. Okay. So, you are Saldana. We're gonna start with you.
I am indeed Sildana.
Indeed. You are currently really tired from doing 3 hours of making candles. It's a back-breaking job. It's a lot of exercise and a lot of
That's not something
training.
I'm not used to.
Yeah, but you've done it yesterday, so this time you're moving a little bit faster and you're starting to enjoy it. It's just very hot and aromatic. I don't know how else to explain it. It doesn't stink. It's scented candles, but it's not something you would do every day. But it's what you have to do to keep track of. Sorry?
I was just gonna say, like, I gotta keep up with the whole tradition.
Indeed, that you do. As you come out of the back room where they make candles, and you go through the main hall once more, along with the other pilgrims, around lunchtime, you're all given free sandwiches for your work. And
Whoa, free sandwiches?
and you get a nice little apple juice flagon next to you, so to keep your spirits up to carry on with your day, because most of you stayed from the mass straight on to do your 3-hour service, so that's why y'all were hungry. And as you're going back, sort of wandering around, chewing on your food, you notice you are quite perceptive. So you notice in the pews where you were before during the prayer of singing, there sits a woman, but her silhouette is very unusual because you're not sure, but it appears she has antlers.
Antlers?
Yep. And she's quietly sitting, looking at the statue of the Holy Lady, all gilded and polished. People are sort of giving her a wide berth as they're all walking around, doing their business, leaving her in peace. And you would know that...
She praying right now? Or...
You'd think so. She's just quietly sitting and observing the statue, but generally you would know in this religion of yours, prayer is mostly done through song. So it is very joyous, very loud, not very somber, being quiet isn't really honoring the Lady of Song. You can be quiet and contemplative once you're, done your prayers. So, she's slightly unusual, but she seems to be calm and people don't seem to give her any weird looks. And sort of tilts her head a little bit, observing the statue. So you're watching her from the back, so you only see these, let's say blondish brown, like dirty blonde hair in a braid, and beautiful antlers that tilt as she moves her head.
Okay. Then, I don't really think I would see a reason to, like, really bother her.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it would be kind of curious, though. You said everybody's basically just leaving her alone.
Yeah, people pass by, but you know they throw a glance at a person and they carry on, and then you see Brebin, who is the little, you know, the uppity gnome that was helping you out during the whole of yesterday.
this-
Sorry.
There's gonna be the DM NPC with an edgy backstory.
We'll see. So you see the Brebin run up to her and sort of bow and whisper something to her ear as the woman nods and says something quietly to Brebin, who nods and takes out a little pen note. So it seems like this woman is familiar with the church and the priests in here, but she's not wearing the church garb. And I mean, you're just standing and eating and observing her, I reckon, which is fine. You're not the
I'm
only
more
one.
of just observing, just generally.
I'm
enjoying my sandwich.
Yeah, you're eating a sandwich. As you're sort of about done and getting ready to leave, you notice Brebin looks up at you, notices, like, meets your eyes, waves at you, and then says something to the woman, and she turns around, and you see that she is, sorry, clicked the wrong one. Give me a few seconds. I'm literally still reeling from the
clicking
tube.
the wrong thing? Oh my god, so unprofessional.
She
Shame
looks
on
like-
you.
What a scuff streamer, I can't believe it.
Oh, damn.
She looks like this.
It's quite fancy though.
She has like, thin scars on her face, but they've been sort of filigreed with, you think, maybe either gold paint or something, that they have been turned into a beauty mark in a way. She has a very noble face, and you notice that she's got pointy ears, so you're probably reckoning she's an elf. But you've never seen, like,
Maybe?
yeah, the antlers don't look like they're
They don't
fake.
look-
They look real. They look like they're growing out of her head.
Is there anything about her that's sort of like a tiefling, maybe?
Give me, what would it be, a nature check?
I would assume that would be a nature check, right?
Yeah, give me a nature check.
Pop.
Are you saying that tieflings are natural? Oh god, disgusting. It's not human.
Like, nature is like about terrain, plants, and animals. I'm like, do you think that she's an animal?
Dude, I mean, fucking go for it. Honestly, use skills wherever you want.
What'd you get, my dude?
It's a goddamn
19.
beast.
19. So, you are a rural girl. You haven't been out
rural?
much. But even you can recognize a noble when you see one.
Oh.
She is dressed in extremely expensive clothes, even though they're not very ostentatious. And through the knowledge of history of Ravinian Empire and the world you live in, you could infer with a 19 that a person of such a noble lineage, with pointy ears of an elf and antlers instead of horns, most likely is a full-blooded elf and probably really old. So
That's
not a
full-blooded.
tiefling. Yeah, full-blooded elf. And
So
probably
elves
quite,
in your world have horns. Or
quite
antlers,
old.
I mean.
You'd never seen another full-blooded elf
Ah.
with horns before. You've never, like, there's not that many in Riverinian Empire. There's a lot of half-elves, tons of them. You might find one or two full-blooded elves, but they would most likely be living in Lesnagor or take up noble positions simply because they have been in the Empire for, like, I don't know, 400, 500 years or so. Way beyond any other mortal being's lifespan. But you have never seen an elf with antlers. But everybody else around here seems to be perfectly content with the fact that she has them. They don't seem to be worried.
What? After I finish up my sandwich, yeah, she's still just sitting down, right?
Yeah, at this point, because Brebin sort of pointed at you after she saw you, and the woman turned around to look at you. And as she sees you, she's...
I would think I would, like, as I look up at me, I would probably get up and probably walk over.
Okay.
Just because I'm aware, like,
Yeah, so Brebin basically pointed you out to her. As she turns around, she looks at you, and she's got this kind of a bit of a cold, distant gaze. It's slightly unsettling with your passive insight. Slightly unsettling. It's like she's taking the measure of you. But she doesn't seem, like, her face doesn't seem hostile. She seems to be very pleasant and sort of this Mona Lisa smile, if you may. And as you get closer to her, she nods at you and points to sit down next to her and says, "Hello. I believe
Good evening.
Breben introduced you to me as Sylfania, was it? You're a new pilgrim in our city."
Yes, I just arrived about yesterday.
Ah, I see. Well, please do take a seat. You've worked hard. At this point, Breben sort of nods to the both of you and says, "Sorry, I have a lot of paperwork to do, but I've pointed her out for you. Are you okay with that now, madam?" And she turns around and says, "Of course, that is perfectly fine. Go ahead." And Breben hops off with a wave to you. This woman...
I've been
Sorry.
pointed out.
Yeah, she turns around to you and says, "I've been observing the mass. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling well to participate. And I've seen you afterwards and you seemed sad. I was just curious if maybe I could help in any way. I think...
I think I've been better than most days lately.
Yes. It's just you have that look.
Oh, look.
A look of a mother missing her child. I'd know that look anywhere." And she looks down a little bit with a shy smile. Her very disposition is very soft, and you see that she sits in an extremely proper manner, so you could probably tell that she is she has been educated in, was it manners or etiquette? There we go. That's the
Etiquette,
word.
yes.
In etiquette, and it's so ingrained in her, even in such a relaxed atmosphere with just one other person, she automatically reverts to it in a way.
Okay. I would think Sylfania immediately would be a little bit kind of like I wouldn't say exactly like put off, but kind of like
On guard?
Slightly pressed.
I guess just slightly, kind of like
Slightly pressed.
you're asking about very personal part of her life.
Calm down there, ma'am. We
Yeah,
barely know each other.
the woman sits and nods after seeing you being uncomfortable and says, "I see I've made you uncomfortable. I'm sorry. That was not my intention. All I meant to say was, I understand. Children are the most precious thing in the world." And as she says that, her face almost lights up with this... Like, you've seen this face. You never really had this face when you had your kid, but you've seen this face on young mothers when they just like hold their newborn the first time and they look into his eyes or their baby's eyes, and this glow of just absolute happiness is on her face. She's not literally lit up, but it is more of a disposition. Her face, like her facial features immediately brighten up and she seems younger and less
So it's literally glowing.
willowy. And she looks up at the Holy Lady, or the statue, and nods to herself and says, "I mean, it was very new for me when I first came here, how children could just be abandoned or, neglected. They're so precious,
Not happen too oftenly where you're from. Until you're a full-blooded elf.
No, of course not." And then she, shyly touches her anklet and says, "Yes, well, it is quite... I keep forgetting that majority of people aren't used to these. Everybody at the church are very, very discreet about it, I'd say. But yes, I am quite old." I do not like to speak about my age, but it is a fact, and one must accept it. But yes, where I come from, and well, I'm sure you know, as an elf, having a child is everything. Even one is such a miracle. And every time she says this, she looks at the lady with this contentness, but also sadness to her gaze.
What is it, fucking Guilt Trip Avenue?
Right?
And she looks back at you and says, I can sense the same heartache that sometimes comes over me. I meant no offense. And then she kind of, you know the reaching out a hand to touch your, to settle down and like to reassure you that she didn't mean it, and immediately checks herself from physical contact and looks up at you and says, sorry, I'm
I
very
probably would
touchy-feely."
just casually just probably pat her on the shoulder.
She says, I simply wanted to maybe offer a sympathetic ear if you need to talk, or just sit with you in solitude. Quietly. Maybe. If you needed it. It is all right.
I've been dealing with my fair share of problems. My way, I think. I'm not sure if there's anything I could really say right now.
I did not mean to press you to answer me. I simply wanted to offer solace. I know that in this cathedral, prayer is very loud and joyous, but sometimes silence is important. And I thought with me here, nobody would bother you anymore if you wanted to sit quietly as well. So it's up to you.
Why would no one bother you?
Oh,
You were here.
they know that sometimes I need some time alone, and after a while I come back, but they're extremely nice people, at least to me. And it's safe here. I can sit quietly for a while, and I don't have a chance of tripping or falling or, hurting myself in any way. So...
Is that a common occurrence?
And she touches her antlers once more, sort of, and then she goes, it's...
Yeah, I understand now.
Well, it's a sensitive topic, you must understand, but when we reach a certain age, sometimes our minds drift. Mine has been drifting lately. And she seems very, very distraught at this point, but holding herself back.
Are you okay?
I think I actually wanted to talk to you because I wanted to vent. How silly.
Oh, well, I'd be perfectly okay with that. You'd want.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will come back as she tells you her story. I know. To be continued. I just wanted to establish where everybody else is at this moment, because you are about 3 hours ahead of everybody. Because of the candle making things.
Damn.
Hence, I am quickly switching back to everyone else. Okay, but hold that thought. You will you will have this conversation. It will happen.
Holding thought in.
Better hold it inside, boy.
Okay.
I've pinned it.
Pinned it.
You've pinned the.
It really been quite familiar with the mod privileges now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Jesus. As
You haven't pinned anything. What do you mean?
it was a joke. It was a stupid joke.
I know.
I pinned my thought.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I just started drinking and now it's already kind of hitting me.
Jesus.
Oh god.
Okay, how do I now switch the songs?
I repeated yesterday.
What do I do?
It's quite easy. You see, you do the magic of this, and then
Okay,
just do
lovely.
the
I
next
shall do that. I shall
Na.
cue.
Freaks me out every time it happens. I'm like, did someone randomly join?
song. They're just that same song. No.
There you go. I have done it. Perfect. And we go back to Bax. Because there was something I forgot to mention what happened last time. Apart from just, embarrassing himself in front of his mother, he then went to university and found the one lead that could lead him to the missing girl, and nearly closely almost embarrassed himself in front of her as well. However, you did manage to
As
get
he
some
tends to do in front of women.
information. You did get some reluctant information from this girl, Becky. And I believe we've ended last session with you saying, I'm just gonna walk away think. That's what happened, I believe.
I was just gonna take a walk and kind of taking.
Just gonna think about this real quick.
Absolutely.
A little walk where I'm like, what the fuck? Where did I?
Do you have a destination in mind as you're walking, or are you just wandering?
No, you can utilize me walking anywhere.
Cool. As you're wandering around...
I'm not having a specific plan.
As you're wandering around Saints Row, you start heading closer to where the end of the district, back to 6 boroughs where you usually live. And the incline begins to increase as you walk. So you just have a feeling, so you're getting closer and closer to the center of the city, away from the college where you had your lectures today, and that meeting with Becky. And you're sort of walking in a daze with thoughts going through your head. You're trying to link events together. You're trying to, I assume you're trying to work out what's the truth and what's going on. You're trying to add all these clues together. Is that
just
correct?
General,
yeah.
Well, I'm generally thinking about the situation. I'm thinking what would Gallifrey be thinking? Does he how hard does he want me to go in this? Because it's he's essentially he's been hide everything about this for the longest time, and suddenly more and more dreams have been happening, and so I'm more thinking all this shit happening now. Does this have a correlations with everything else? It's some shit happening right now. Should I act on it right now? Should I ignore what my mother is doing and just do something, or should I not? I'm just considering many things. I'm not really going for something specific. But I guess I would just slowly be walking towards maybe the spot Becky told me about. Slowly, I guess.
The river, you mean?
Do you mean correlation?
Yeah, correlation. Yeah, I fucked up the word.
I was like coalesce. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I messed up the word.
I need you to give me a religion check. Excuse
I realized
me.
I messed up saying
having
it while
a
I was doing
session.
it, but I was also
Yeah.
I was just grinding my gears, thinking what?
What part of what is coalescence?
Apparently he's becoming one with all of them.
Anyway, I don't know.
God.
Have you guys heard the door slam? Because
becoming
my
the
neighbors
true man.
decided to. Hey,
I
I'm
didn't
about
hear
to
it.
leave. I'm about to leave this flat, so I'm just gonna yeet the door. Good that you didn't
No,
hear
I
it.
didn't
Means my sound isolation's
Did
working
it-
well.
Didn't
11.
hear shit.
11.
yeah.
Okay.
Garbage.
With a +4,
You're thinking about it. Your brain
good sign.
you keep referring to some of the dreams you've had. You keep trying to call upon his guidance. Keep trying to hear the usual voice that you hear in your dreams from him. Nothing comes through. And you are kind of left in this state of fugue, in this state of uncertainty. I found the word that I was looking for. Uncertainty about what you're about to do. You get no answer from the external source. It is all sort of up to you. As you are wandering about aimlessly, you suddenly hear a voice. Oh, bless you. Gosh, that's so cute. Sorry, you
I
were
muted
sweet.
myself though.
No, but
Excuse me?
Bless you, Danny.
The model.
Your
Your model was adorable. But yes, the idea is as you're walking back, you see a beautiful buxom woman lean to the wall and just
Hey yo.
come hither to you as you're walking around saying, gosh, that was cute. And then there's a bunch of girls on a balcony, Aladdin style, like in the cartoon Aladdin. They're all just waving at you, and then immediately, like, an ostentatious man comes in and herds them back into a flat, gives you a once-over, and, like...
This person
back
doesn't
in.
even have the money.
My
Yep.
God, yeah.
As
I quite literally don't.
as you have 0. You've spent it all on the raffle ticket of the magic
Yeah, I got quite a unique item
shadow
as well,
box.
so worth it.
And as you're a bit confused by this whole thing happening, you hear another beckon from across the road, and this is a voice that you're familiar with. The person beckoning you is, drumroll please, once I find the picture.
I bet they're
of the person.
hot. Oh my
better be.
god!
It's Trarrell.
Oh.
He hails
boy.
you from across the road, and in his hands is a large tome of something, and behind him floats a bag, probably full of books, as he hops over to you from the end of the street that you were walking towards. And once he reaches you, he looks up and says, "Hello, Bax. You done with your classes today?"
Hello, Travel. Yeah, I finished not long ago.
Yes, the thing you asked me to do. Right, good that I ran into you. I did not expect... I was just heading over to come get you. You know how I said I couldn't read it? It wasn't precisely that I couldn't read it. It's more, I could read it, I just couldn't tell what language it was. So I could understand it, but I didn't know where it came from. So, naturally, I, went through our library, which is extensive, and then, didn't find what I was looking for, went to the great grand library, spent a bunch of time.
Yeah.
I long story short, I found the source of the language, and I can translate what this means, but I think you know already.
I already know the translation. It's
Yes,
the origin of the name.
the origin of the language is infernal. It's a language spoken by the fiends in the 9 hells, which, honestly, on its own, is not so odd. It's a language, it exists. There's a lot of scholars studying the theoretical dimension of the 9 hells, and they sometimes study infernal, so I was not that surprised. What is surprising is that this is infernal language in a hex bag. Now,
Yeah. That would make it a bit more interesting.
yes, the reason why that is surprising is also has to do with the library, but I remember Mother saying something about back in the day there used to be a lot of these creatures that came from the Feywild, apart from the elves who lived in Esthara, and there was a certain class of creatures that tended to do such pranks on people and quite enjoyed this level of psychological torture, but they are fully Fey, and so to have a method of confusing or discombobulating a person or mentally torturing a person that comes inherently from the Feywild with infernal language in it is what's odd.
Yeah. One thing is the existence of that, but also the malicious nature of the bag itself.
Yes, that too. So I've dug around, and he opens up the tome in his hand, which is this huge book rewritten in like a language do you speak Sylvan?
I do, yes. I speak
Okay.
Arcanic, Primordial, and Sylvan.
As you're looking through the
garbage.
book, you can recognize the Sylvan language, the loopy twirls of it, and the book seems old. As you're opening, as he is listing through the book, he then stops at a page and lifts it up to you and says, "I think we might be dealing with this, which is I'm not sure what kind of news it is, whether it's good or bad." And as he points it up, he shows there are basically 3 different colored old women, and at the top of the page it says
no.
hags.
The women.
Looks like the Keel Plunder's back in action.
Oh, let's go.
my worst enemy, not the women.
My worst enemy.
My arch enemy.
Indeed.
The opposite gender.
You seem to not have any luck. Trarrell is pointing at the page, and as
I've
you're
already
looking,
made a promise with myself that I'll actively cuck Mads every chance I get.
as you're looking through the page, there's like, you know, it's drawn in a beautiful filigree of ancient Sylvan.
Don't worry about
Ignore
it.
it. No sound.
keep
Fuck
going,
it. Fuck
keep
it.
going.
No
Keep
sound.
going.
Let's keep going.
Keep on a line of thought.
This just not happened to me. Not today. Anyway, as you're looking at the page, the ongoing battle
The
of
bot
Sylfania
disconnects, just
and the
breaks
bot.
fucking everything.
I swear, every episode, this piece of shit.
That's great.
And I don't mean Matt.
Yeah,
Anyway,
ads.
as you're looking at the page, it's very clearly 3 different types of old, sort of decrepit women with rags and nails. You know, they're drawn in a very monstrous way, but they generally look like old women. And, you know, the book is clearly speaking about hags, but it doesn't have that much information. It just has a bunch of names and like personal notes on these. So and Trial looks down and says, I don't know, this book is not very useful, unfortunately. I found it's more of a diary of a traveler of the Feywild, and so really I think it's them, but I'm not sure. I really think we should probably ask my mom about this. She'd know more.
What do you think she is right now?
Mama's
I
boy.
mean, I know where she is. It's just
Little bitch.
You know,
don't really-
let's take the chance, shall we? Believe in your mother for a little longer.
okay.
I'm sure she got this.
That's fine.
Pussy.
I don't want to bother her. Never mind. We probably should go. If somebody,
Charvel, you will never bother your mother. You know this.
I know. Right. Basically, if this has
Only
to do
I
with
do
the
that
missing
to my
girl.
own.
You
Yeah.
say you'll never bother her, but what if she's taking a shit?
Your mother.
Jesus,
Get the fuck out.
Yo, ma!
Yo, mama.
You got your reading glasses on?
Your mom ever like do the thing where like she yells at you from across the room and she's in the bathroom? She's like, "Come here!" And you're like, "What? No."
My
I
mom
can hear
does
you
that.
taking a shit from here.
Yeah, yells back. Don't yell in my house. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah, the absolute power a mother has. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you guys start following Trial as he is heading towards where his mother usually works. And we will switch at the moment to Fervorand to sort of build up the tension here. Which makes sense because I'll use a different soundtrack for this place. Because
Wow.
Oh no, Mads.
Goodbye, brother.
goodbye, brother.
Did he die?
He's
What?
back.
Oh no, your mic
Oh,
your mic
okay.
is gone.
Your mic is
No,
gone.
it's not gone. I just muted.
Ah, okay.
I just
I
forgot
saw
for a
you
second.
go off like for like a second on the guest.
Oh,
line.
I just refreshed my browser.
Oh,
I
okay.
I see.
I can still see her there on the stream.
God, that's loud. Wonderful.
I just have it turned down. That's okay.
Meanwhile, Fervorand, you've been trudging along with this very perky but very interesting city Holy Order guard, member of the Garda, and you, through this small walk, you've already learned that her name is Corporal Luba Whitflow, that she is new to Laudenborough, that she's been reassigned literally today, and this is conveniently her last day on the job before she has the vacation for 2 weeks with her boyfriend for the festival. She's very stoked, and she's never been to Laudenborough before, and this is so new.
I bet nothing bad's gonna happen to her.
I bet nothing bad is gonna happen to her, indeed.
Red
As she,
flags? What
yeah.
do you mean?
As you're walking through the streets, she, you know, I think I've mentioned in the last episode, she would float up to a label, not a label, but the name of a shop or something, and figure out, oh, okay, this is interesting. So this is here. I need to get Skywatcher to come over here, right? Okay, right, we need to go down this lane, I think. Hopefully.
I say to her.
She looks at you.
Convincing
Delightful.
argument.
Delightful argument, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
Another
a
point.
give me a
Persuasion roll.
give me a give me a persuasion roll.
On what? The bird?
If you hit a nat 20 now, I swear to God.
Please.
20!
Oh, what the fuck?
Way!
Oh god! Shut the fuck up!
I am very persuasive.
Wait, hold on.
I
I'm
shit you
clipping
not. It is 20. It is 20.
I gotta clip it.
Clip
No
a math, bitch.
fucking shot. Did you
Kill
hit a
it.
fucking
How?
Okay. Okay. I need a minute here. Just a second to
comprehend what the
I
fuck?
have this system of if impossible things happen, I write them down. So okay, that's done.
I
Right.
just
As
love
you-
how my entire argument to our conversation was a fat burp, and that requires a persuasion roll.
As
She just goes, you know what? Fair argument.
as he burped, she looks at you and says,
right.
"You know what? I like your style. You're very funny. You're similar to my Sky. I think you two would get
Thank you.
along." Yes. And you guys in a very amicable. She's in a good mood. She seems to be perfectly content with you just walking around and answering her in burps. She actually is like, "Can you burp the alphabet?" And
Probably.
and at this point, she tries to burp, but she's made of air, so it comes out as like soundless. Just
It's like
whistle.
a bad whistle.
Yeah, like a bad whistle, and she goes, "I'm so frustrated. I can never burp properly." And things get childish from now on.
Teach her the ancient art.
But
Yeah.
the streets are pretty relaxed. There's people walking. As usual, Southgate is extremely busy. Her job, from your understanding, is to patrol these streets, and if anything goes wrong, to be there, like the police. But it seems to be the city is so safe and so relaxed most of the time. There is really no need for the Garda, but they still do the job. You think that. But as you're nearing closer to the sort of where the exit was to the city, where you came in to the big square, you hear a lot of noise, more than usual, coming from a crowd of people surrounding, like from a distance, something, and they're all arguing and yelling, and it seems a little bit more aggressive rather than tame. And Luba immediately perks up and looks at you and says, "Oh my god, this has never happened to me." Okay. She fixes her
Listen, girlfriend.
she fixes her outfit and goes, "Whew, I'm going to go do my job. Come along." And she delves into the crowd and goes, "Okay, everybody, calm down. The guard is here. No need to fret. Everybody step away and relax. And somebody tell me what is going on." And as she parts the crowd, or attempts to part the crowd, the two people in the side, like the crowd was circling two people who were arguing, and they're still arguing, completely ignoring her. One of them is familiar to you for a round. You've seen him before. It's a person who actually showed Sildana to the Deep Pillow Tavern. You didn't catch his name, but
little kid boy.
no.
No. Was it a little kid?
No, there was a guy you just randomly came up to on the street and were like,
Oh no,
"Can
yeah,
you
it was a
show
random
me?"
guy. It was a guy on like a venue or something. He was selling some stuff.
Yeah, he was just chilling. This dude, he's basically he's completely red in the face.
Oh my god, he
He-
looks such like a basic Joe. Oh my
He's
god.
a basic Joe. That is his only redeeming quality. He's like his shirt collar is a little bit torn, and his clothes look disheveled, and he looks really pissed off. And he is yelling, a full voice yelling at a person standing in front of him.
He looks like the type of guy whose face would go like full like red, just from like yelling so hard.
Yeah, like me. Extremely British complexion.
Yes,
and
that's what I mean.
Does he have the teeth to match?
you don't know, he's not smiling. The other person, who at whom this individual is yelling appears to be in a completely different state. Rather than, half disheveled and angry, they're standing very proud with their head up and dressed in these regal clothes with a long, flowy sort of hair braided up to the side. Look very calm and collected, but from their facial expression, you can tell they're pissed off as well. But their pissed off is very subtle instead of, in your
Seething
face.
calm.
This is sort of what they look like. As they're looking down at this dude who's yelling at them. And you get snippets of conversation for Rand, of one of them saying, "I didn't steal nothing! You can't just accuse me in the middle of the street!" And this person looks down at him, at the other man, and says, "If I know you stole it, it means you stole it, and I will not take my words back." "Ah, the guard is here. How convenient." And the other dude who's completely red turns towards Luba, who is now a little bit confused, and goes, "This man's accusing me of theft! I'm an honest man. I've never stolen anything in my life." And the crowd is like, yeah, starts, some people are like, "No, he's an honest man." And some are like, "Nah, he's clearly a thief. Look at him. He looks like one."
Classist.
Luba is, for a second, just freezes, looking around like, okay, hold on, everybody, stop. I'm getting confused. Who stole what from who? What happened? Okay, tell me everything. As this is going on for Rand, what do you do?
I stand next to her as if like I'm part of the Garda. Like I'm not marked or anything, but I'm just following, like I'm with her. So like if I start asking any questions, they're going to assume they have to answer me.
He's got to put on like a.
I have like my hands behind my back, like commander style.
Yeah, like a bouncer at a nightclub.
I'm just casually observing everything that's going on.
Cool. So you are observing everyone from behind of her. And thus you hear this full account of, I will shorten it for you. Through arguing and yelling, basically what happened is this individual, called Francis Crew, has apparently noticed that the other person's very expensive pendant, the clasp was loose and the pendant was about to fall off. So so he claims. And he came up to the individual and told him that, "Hello, your pendant's about to fall off. Please be careful. Don't lose it in a busy street." The other person obviously noticed that and that the clasp was broken, has taken the pendant, did not thank him, as he claimed, and just walked away with disdain. Minutes later, Francis Crew here claims that he has been just grabbed from the crowd, yanked by the collar that he's pointing to, with the ripped one, and been accused of stealing said medallion, which he had not done. As he is sort of recounting all of this in an extremely angry Scottish accent, and I thought that was enough of me being very Scottish to you, hence I've summarized what he said. It was honestly too cringy for me to continue doing that, so...
No, you gotta embrace the cringe.
Gotta get the practice in.
Oh god. So as he mentions all of this, the other person, who you've probably figured out from people talking, is named Viscount Yeslin, has been standing and just watching him. After he finishes and with his heavy breathing and saying, "And that is what happened. Cross my heart and swear by the lady." And he looks at Luba, and who's nodding towards him and saying, "Very interesting. And your point of the story?" Viscount Yeslin fixes their hair and looks at Luba and says, "Well, naturally, this individual has found this medallion quite worth something. And yes, it is almost priceless. I'm sure this man wouldn't be able to afford it even if he worked for 3 years. But let me just say that he has probably noticed a very lucrative opportunity to steal it, has failed the first time because the clasp didn't come off, decided to pretend to give it back, and then when I lost it, claimed innocence, as he's doing now. And obviously the other man, Francis, was like, that is complete bullshit! And then everybody around starts arguing. And at this point, Luba loses the crowd, and she goes,
I put my hand up like I'm silencing the crowd, and then I just walk into the center.
This
in
is like
between the two of them.
literally, you're just giving such confidence that everyone
Yeah.
just believes
yeah,
you.
for this, give me an intimidation check
Ooh.
with advantage.
Please roll.
Because the
low.
way you look.
with advantage.
Please just
The way you
magically roll low for once.
Just for once, yeah.
Just for once.
21.
Oh,
Mm.
When they
that
won,
3 gave me hope.
as you come up to the center of this argument with your hand raised, completely clad in black with a mask on your face, the crowd immediately shuts up and everybody looks at you kind of warily, but everybody shuts up.
Oh my god.
Viscount Yeslin raises a singular eyebrow at you, does not say anything. Francis also shuts up and looks at you.
Viscount, upon being alerted that the clasp on your pendant was loose, did you walk away with it?
Indeed, I have put it
And-
in my pocket.
And you still carry it on you?
No, that is the point. After I've checked my pockets, after thinking that this was extremely suspicious, I found it missing.
Right. And you put it in your pocket after you stepped away from this individual?
As I was stepping away, but there was a lot of people, and this is a... And he points at Southgate, which is crowds. It's quite easy to lose track of things.
And you, good sir, and I gesture to person across. After you alerted them that their pendant was loose, did you walk away or did you just stand there?
Aye, I've walked away, I have things to do, I've got a job to keep. And somebody's like, no you don't, you're a loser. And he goes like, shut up, Mandy! Not going out with you anymore. Anyway, I
And you've
walked
been
away.
here since?
I was just walking away trying to find my friends, and then a minute later I'm being yanked by my shoulder. It hurt!
And your friends are here?
And he's like, no, the bastards ran away. Shit stains.
Viscount, especially since you put your pendant away as you were walking away from the individual, at what point do you believe he had the opportunity to grasp into your pocket as your hand was still in it?
Probably not as my hand was still in it. But most likely, what I think happened, and what probably happened, is that the moment that I lost my guard and believed myself safe and my pendant in my possession, this man simply pickpocketed me. Thus, I have requested to search his person, but he started resisting.
You mind if we search your person?
They look at you in such, like, just a once-over of disdain, and says, I shall only submit to the search if it is done by the Garda. And he looks
Of
at Luba.
course.
And she's like, oh, okay, cool. I will search you, okay? Hands to the sides. And she basically does a pat down, very gentle. She, sometimes floats above, not to step on anything. That takes a little bit of time. She turns around to you and says, I mean, he's wearing a lot of expensive stuff, but I don't think there's no pendant on him, so... I'm pretty
And
thorough,
now,
so...
since they have already submitted to a search, surely you will now also agree to submit to one.
Hey, of course, search me, I didn't have it! And Luba comes up to him, searches him as well, and he doesn't have it. At this point, Viscount Yeslin is like, this is ridiculous. I mean, he surely
Well-
pawned it off to his friends the moment he met them. And they
What
conveniently
seems to have
disappeared.
happened here, Viscount, is that surely you put your pendant away into your pocket as you were walking away. Perhaps you did not put it in fully and it dropped on the ground without your notice, or someone else has picked your pocket. As you stated yourself, you walked away from the individual as he alerted you to the loose clasp, and they still stayed here with account to the friends and the general public, and they also do not have the possession on them. despite still being in the same location, if they were a pickpocket, they would very likely not stay here where they would be easily found and caught once you noticed the pendant was missing. Ergo, it's somewhere else.
Give me a persuasion check. Because there's a lot of people who are like nodding in the crowd for your logical sentences.
Okay, let's go persuasion. 7.
7. Viscount Yeslin looks at you, up and down, sees your kind of ragtag. You know, you used to have travel clothes on, you have one pair of clothes. It is relatively clean.
I
but
prestigitate them clean, man.
you do,
Come on.
but they get worn, and you don't have repair, and like, you know, they get torn a little bit as you walked all of this distance in them. And then he looks at your mask, just gives you a once-over and says, right. I mean, you make a fair argument, but respectfully disagree. I still believe what happened is that this man over here is a notorious pickpocket. He has picked my pocket, pawned this medallion to his conveniently disappearing friends that are nowhere to be found, and then stayed to keep his alibi specifically in case I came after him. This
And
is
how long
a
did it
pretty
take you to-
standard racket. I've seen
And
this
how
in
long
many
did
other
it take
towns.
you to find it missing? From the moment you put it in your pocket, how long until
Well,
it
I've
was gone?
walked away, and then suddenly I realized that this is highly suspicious, and nobody would be this conveniently nice. And so I immediately looked into my pocket, and it was not there.
So you would say less than a minute.
I would say about a minute, maybe a minute and a half.
And then you immediately turned around, grabbed him by the collar, and accused him of theft.
Well, I found him in the crowd, yes, and accused him of theft, naturally.
I'm about to mansplain the fuck out of you.
And if he's looking for his friends, and I'm assuming he either found one of them or did not at all, he somehow pawned the object off and they ran off at that very minute.
Well, do you see any of his friends here? The
Well,
ones he
surely
claimed?
not. You're playing a rich bastard and accusing him of theft.
At this point, everybody in the crowd goes, because you just insulted a viscount, and this individual seems to like flick his or flick their cuffs. They look at you with this. They're shorter than you, okay? They're
Yeah.
very petite.
After his like outburst, I immediately follow with, Viscount, what is your business in this city?
My business? My business? Do
Answer
you
the
know
question.
who I am?
I do not care who you are. I want you to answer the question.
Sorry, I'm just excited about
Get this bitch. Get her.
they look at you with this look like, I am Viscount Daruna Yeslin,
I
the most
don't
famous,
care who
the
you
most
are.
famous art critic this side of the Empire.
Oh god, she's an art critic. Oh, I hate her.
Oh, okay, fuck her.
You can criticize the forest outside for all I care. What is your purpose within the city?
I live here, and everybody's like,
Great.
whispered.
Fantastic. Then surely you would know this man since you frequent this area?
Of course, everybody knows the lazy Mr. Crew, and he goes like, Oi!
And is
No one
his
insults-
reputation the one of a thief?
His reputation is one of a wastrel. Why not a thief?
And then what is your reputation?
My, the fact that you have to ask tells me everything I need to know about you.
Yes, it's that you're very unimportant. Now answer the question.
Okay, this deserves
Can we
a...
roll for a burn here?
I know, I'm like, this deserves a roll, but I'm just not sure what.
Damage.
Can you roll for that psychic damage?
Fucking right.
Sure.
What do I roll?
I think this would be intimidation,
Intimidation.
but like, yeah, use charisma for it, because it's the burn, the sassy burn.
He's pretty sassy, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn. That one.
Nat
no.
one. Oh
That's a
boy.
nat 1, baby.
Okay. As you say this, immediately, like, a bunch of other Garda show up, and they look at you, facing down Viscount, who flicks their braid back, turns to them and says, "Gentlemen, finally somebody competent come to deal with this problem." And they sort of muscle their way in and, gently push the people away and go like, all right, let's sort out what's going on here. And Luba's like, no, I've got this, this is my district. And they look at her and they say, yeah, but this is Viscount Yeslin, so it's alright. You new kid, just let us handle it. And I'd say there's like 3 of them, so within a few 30 seconds, the crowd is surprisingly dispersed. Francis is almost manhandled by one of them. The other one is leaning his head and apologizing to Viscount Yeslin, who is nodding sagely to this person. And you are kind of ignored in the middle of all of this for a little bit.
Yep. I still stand there, hands behind my back, commander style, just waiting for them to finish doing whatever they're doing. I know they're sucking up to her.
Yeah,
I want you to just be so petty.
As the crowd disperses, or is forced to sort of disperse and go by their own business, Francis is trying to struggle, but obviously this giant half-orc paladin is just grabbing him by the hands, and he's a skinny dude. He can't get out of this. He's your average Joe. So he sort of sags in this guard's arms for a second there. Luba seems to be both pissed off, and she's trying to stop them manhandling the people. But also they're completely ignoring her because she's new. They don't know her. And she's like, as she gets angry and angry, she floats higher, but to try to be heard. But they seem to
Until she just floats all the way up in the sky.
No, they seem to just whatever, brush her off. Just brush her off. And eventually, as the 3rd guard stops talking to Viscount Yeslin, they both turn their faces to you, and the Viscount says, "So this gentleman has just, I believe, insulted me 3 times within the last 2 minutes. Who are you?" And the guard is stands up and flicks his head and looks at you. "Yeah, never seen you around before."
The knight.
I am Favorin Dickens, the head lawyer of the capital's estate, doing currently reports on said crimes that the Garter has unsuccessfully accomplished. And I look at them I give them a huge fucking stink eye as to say this. And you, my lady, have been quite a lot of them.
Give me a deception check. Just straight. No disadvantage or advantage, just give me one. Okay?
Yeah, baby.
My goodness, you've been making a lot of rolls.
I'm sorry, this is an intense situation.
He is going for a,
Man's been doing things.
He is going hard.
14. As you say, was it did you say the lawyers? What exactly did you say?
I basically said I was a lawyer of the capital.
Yeah, the lawyer of the capital, so you're basically like a tax man. Showed up.
Yeah, I'm basically I'm essentially describe myself as unresolved crime reports.
The tax office.
You gave yourself the most vague job
Yeah, so
description.
basically
it's such a vague description that you're like, it doesn't exist, but it's also a threatening enough position that if I do find you guilty, you're in deep shit.
Are you watching their faces as you say this?
Yes, I give them the fattest fucking I'm better than you stink eye.
Then give me an insight check real quick as well. Sorry, I'm gonna make you roll a lot. You're doing a lot of things, so that's why you roll a lot.
We spent 4 rolls. It ain't that much.
Yeah. Insight.
14.
14 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you notice as you say the word lawyer, and as that word comes up, you can see a little twitch in Daruna's eye, like tiny twitch back. It's so subtle. You're pretty sure you've seen it, but it's not a tell. You can't really glean any more from that. You just see a twitch. And then as you keep talking, the guard suddenly straightens up and looks you over, and then suddenly goes, "Yeah, I mean, plausible, but."
You think a lawyer would mark himself visibly for the lot such as yourself to lie to me to my face? Of course I'm wearing a disguise. Who do you think I am?
But I mean, that's kind of a bright disguise, you know. And he points at the full black head mask. You kind of stand out.
Well, it took until now to notice me, didn't it?
Yeah, how did that happen? And it's like, George! It's like, what? Yeah, fine. Sorry. Right, okay. So, assuming you're from the capital,
Shimmy.
What? What's your business? What do you want? Alright, okay, like, I can't interfere with the insults going on, but the issue of a missing pendant is still there, like.
Well, it's quite obvious that the lady was very heated towards a specific individual, demanding very, how should I say, uncivilized things towards them without any reasoning to back it up. And since she's already on my reports, I figured it might as well be good to look into the matter properly, as I look him in the eye.
Yeah.
And I basically continue on of...
How deep does the circle of lies go?
So far,
deep.
she has
Quite
failed to explain her reasoning properly towards the individual. He has every reason to be innocent, yet she insists he's guilty. I asked her very simply what her purpose here in the city was for today, and she simply stated that she lives here.
Well,
She has yet
yes.
to give me a statement of why she's here and what she was doing.
First of all, dear sir, I would kindly request you refer to me as your lordship. And second, I was here on a shopping trip. Why else would I be in Southgate in the middle of the day? I have an appointment
And
at a
where is your
boutique.
shopping currently?
Sorry?
And where is your shopping currently? Surely you must have purchased a lot of wares.
Viscount Yeslin looks at you and says, I have an appointment at the boutique that I am probably going to miss now, thanks to this situation.
Well, you have only yourself to blame.
Like you can see the nose start like puff up of like and the guard is immediately trying to he doesn't really believe you 100%, but he wants to be safe and not cross the the law office. So he kind of goes like
law.
He doesn't know what to do, so he's just trying to calm the both of you down. Meanwhile, let me double check. As you are fully arguing,
I'm just going back and forth. I'm pissing her off.
You've been
So
very
fucking
calm, but
much.
she's like in a screaming
Fucking
match with
trying
you.
to...
yeah, as you guys are talking, meanwhile, the crowd has been dispersed. Francis is still manhandled. You hear a sudden aha, and from somewhere off the road, and everybody sort of turns around, and then you can see Luba floating, or like hop floating up to you with a shiny thing in her hand. And
To me.
Yeah, and she comes up to you and she says, guess what I found in this side alley while you were arguing and yelling at each other, you know, making a lot of ruckus and scaring the local populace. And she looks at the local guard as saying this, and she does a little ting, and a medallion on a golden chain comes off. It's like, I believe this is yours. And Viscount Yeslin looks surprised and like, yes, this is mine. And she goes, well, I found this near the corner of that alley, which I assume you walked into and accidentally dropped it. And Francis goes, oh, bitch.
Now, your lady,
It
as
comes
you
up
prefer.
to.
Hopefully in the future you'll be more careful with your possessions, as, if I'm not mistaken, accusing an innocent of a crime they did not commit does actually carry a penalty of either a fine or jail time in itself. So, as I said before,
Yeah.
watch your words.
In that, you are actually correct. A little bit of exposition for you to know this. Because any kind, especially in Loddenborough, as you say this, the crime of accusing someone of something they didn't do, you notice the guards and the Viscount and Francis and a bunch of people who heard you, except for Luba, all of them flinch a little as they look at you immediately as you say this, and then shudder and keep walking. Viscount Yeslin like fixes their coat and says, right, well, I admit I must have been mistaken. And sort of looks over to where Francis is just being grabbed and says, my apologies. I have an appointment to make. I believe this is settled. Please unhand this man.
Well, surely you must compensate the man for his time and the manhandling he had to endure and the accusations he had to have placed upon his reputation due to your miscount.
The Viscount was
Going deep, bro. We're going deep.
The Viscount was turning away as you were saying this, and they immediately stop and start turning back with the most malicious look.
I mean, if he would not like to compensate the man for the egregious time spent on him, I would be more than happy to alert the Garda of your false accusation.
Don't have time for this. The Viscount reaches into their pocket, pulls out a little pouch, clearly full of coins, and like flicks it over to where Francis is like standing up and trying to fix his shirt. Says, "As I said, apologies for the inconvenience. Now, if you'll excuse me," and with a swoosh of a robe, walks away briskly. The guards kind of like look at each other and say, like, turn towards Francis and say, "Sorry, mate, you know, didn't really mean it. Tried to do a job." And Francis is like, "It's cool, mate. You know, he's a dick. It's fine."
I turn to the Garda and say, "Now, you are aware of my position and what I do within the city, so in the future, please, hopefully restrain yourself from questioning my person."
Oh, no, this needs a roll, man. Okay, I would need this to be... You sound like you're trying to intimidate them to stop getting
No.
away.
I'm basically saying, like, you already know who I am. Next time, don't question me in front of people.
But that sounds like somebody from above being like, "Bitch, you question me again, I will get you fired." So I would need you to give me an intimidation check.
Persuasion.
It's more of an intimidation than anything.
Yeah, it's an intimidation check. Give me that, please.
Do I have advantage because I successfully told her to fuck off?
You know what? Yeah, you've intimidated them a little bit already, so go ahead.
baby. Oh, that's terrible. 7.
7. As you say this, they look you over and say, "Right, with all due respect, sir, we will be asking back at the office to see if the capital has sent anyone in. And once we've verified your identity, of course, we will never hinder any of your investigations. But for now, if you understand, we'll keep a plausible deniability in this whole thing. Let's just, for today, because the festival's coming up, nobody wants any trouble, right? We don't want an investigation on our hands and festival getting cancelled. Let's just can it for now, but you'll be seeing us
Sweep it
again.
under the rug, as you say. Understandably. Very well.
You'll be seeing us again.
Hopefully, this will not become a matter of question in the future.
Yeah, for everyone's sake, but yeah. And he still suspiciously looks you over, but he's like, he's okay to back off for now. You did not convince him completely, so he might do a background check, or
I
any sort of
gesture
it.
to my floating companion and go, "Shall we resume your patrol?"
Indeed. Well, actually, and she looks, and then suddenly a bong, a clock hits 2, and she goes, "Actually, I'm on my lunch break." So, and she turns around to Francis, and who stands up and says, "Well, that's convenient, ain't it? I just got us money for lunch. Shall we go all eat?"
Then let us assume.
And the three of you go to where else? The Deep Pillow Tavern, to the restaurant for some great food, because it's the place you go to eat in this city.
Fucking hungry.
With Francis seeming completely ignoring the fact that his shirt's ripped, he's like, "Fuck it, I got money out of this." Luba being extremely self-confident of like her first day in this new city, and she managed to put 3 of her superiors into their place in a way.
Yeah.
And you know, she solved the mystery. You just walking with them, and we will quickly switch back to Sylfania. Because yes, conversation. Once
I hope I was entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, you gave me a few heart palpitations in there. I was like,
Especially that nat 1 there.
yeah, when and that nat 20 with the it's like, dude, you're the two extremes. You are the two extremes. Okay, sorry, just gonna sort out the music.
Yum.
But it's perfect.
There we go. And as you're sitting down next to this woman who clearly needed somebody to talk to, and she probably figured out, hey, maybe this one person can understand me in this city, or I see a person who might be in a similar conundrum, so I can just vent. Now you're basically sitting there with your hands held tightly in her clasp. Not able
I'm
to
like-
escape even if you want to now.
I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? Is what's
She
going
has
through
caught
Saddam's
you.
head.
Yeah, she has caught you, and she leans over, not leans over, but like sits next to you and starts telling you her tale. She looks up and she says, "You see, I came to this city a very, very long time ago. I've been here almost since the beginning, really. And as an elf,
I believe it.
I waited to have a child because, well, we were settling in a new place. We were far from home, my husband and I. We needed to establish ourselves. And when I did finally was blessed with a child, I was so happy. I am so happy. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. But I might have waited too long. He's so young. He's not ready. And I don't think I have much time left.
How old is he right now?
Oh, only 45. He's such a baby. I know.
A question then.
Sorry, I made myself laugh with that, but
I know you did. I know you did. I have a quick question for you. Your husband, what race was he?
Oh, he's a high elf like myself. Indeed.
Oh, you're both high elves.
And the terrible thing is, if he was younger, I would not be this worried. He would have more time with my darling. We're both very similar of age, and he's actually older than me, even though he looks younger. The bastard. Anyway, the fact is, both of us are nearing our time, and I can't bear leaving him alone in this city where nobody understands him, where he is one of a kind. It's so painful. And she takes out a little handkerchief, embroidered handkerchief, and starts dabbing on her eye. And as you look at her, you notice there's a squirrel sitting on her lap, trying to just pat her.
Out of curiosity, this embroidered handkerchief as she pulls out, does she also pull out the old macaroni drawing her son did at 35?
No, she doesn't.
Sad.
Why did you roll? Why did you roll?
Because I love chaos, and sometimes I roll and I give myself a DC, and if it goes over that, I say, "Why the fuck not?" But it did not.
That
so
would be funny.
No, it would have been funny, but it's not.
This
So-
is a little macaroni drawing my son
She
did.
takes out and
dabs.
dabs at her eyes with this handkerchief, and then looks down at the squirrel and says, "Ugh, go away," and flicks the squirrel away, who runs off and then comes back and jumps. Not flicks, but shoos it gently off of her.
Okay, shoot, that makes more. I'm thinking just this fucking One Punch Man flicks.
I would have been slightly sad by that. I'm like, oh.
No, she
Comes to
flicks
splatter on the wall.
the squirrel away, as the squirrel then walks around and then hops on her shoulder, and she doesn't seem to notice at first when she's talking to you. The squirrel seems to be quite obsessed with being next to this woman. And she looks at you and says, "Oh, my darling boy, you must understand the feeling of I can't simply let him go, can I? But what shall I do? I can't leave him alone. It's such a dilemma."
I mean, I think for me the issue was that I left him or left my child alone a bit too oftenly, I think.
At this point, the woman lets go of your hands and shifts back and says,
Which?
You left your child.
It was something that was always necessary.
It's never necessary to leave a child. And at this point, she looks genuinely horrified and offended when she looks at you and says,
Disgusting.
I'm sorry, I must have misjudged you.
No.
Apologies." And she now seems uncomfortable sitting next to you.
She's uncomfortable now.
What I tell you, Danny? Guilt Trip Avenue.
And yeah, she sits there and she fixes her hair and says, "Well, I guess I see Brebin over there. I reckon I need to
Oh,
fill some paperwork for the church. I volunteer here in my spare time, you see. Well,
oh, really?
I hope you enjoy the experience and your pilgrimage. Good luck." And, you know, she gives you this weird look of... You can feel
Why
the
do you give me
disappointment. Do you ask?
Oh, you give. You know what? I would probably say like, oh, now you give me the strange look.
She looks back at you and says... She looks you over once more and says, "I do not like to assume, but may I guess that you have been born in this empire somewhere very, very entrenched in the beliefs of this country?"
Yes, I was. My father being part of the army. I never even knew my mother. Pretty sure she was full-blooded elf.
And as you say that, she seems horrified and sits down next to you. "That's not possible. I'm so sorry. Oh, I must have been so horrible to you. I did not mean that. I apologize. I've not been myself these last few days, and I've been on edge, and... Oh, my dear." And immediately grabs your hands and says, "I'm so sorry about your mother, but let me assure you, if she was an elf, there is nothing in this world that would have kept her from you, apart from death."
Indirectly saying that her mother's
I-
dead.
You see, you might not be familiar if
What?
your father was, I would like to say human, but not to assume.
He was, yes.
In the Sea of Tlindraith, we as elves, we have nearly eternal lives, a very long, healthy, long lifespan that we must endure in this world. And there are bonuses to this. We can take our time learning new skills, but we have things taken away from us, which is it is very difficult for us to conceive a child. And when one is given to a couple, it is the greatest of blessings, and everyone rejoices. The whole city, the whole country rejoices whenever a new full-blooded elf is born. So the idea that they would leave you is impossible. It is not in our nature to do so. You might think so because you might have met some elves who were born in this empire, but they are young and they do not know the true ways of our nation. I assure you, please, do not think ill of your mother. If she could be here with you, she would be. I promise you that.
Well, in all my 50 years of living, I have not seen anything.
Well,
But
this is a conundrum then, but if she might be alive, I would not lose hope that she would be looking for you.
I'm
Because if anything happens...
sorry, but for me, it's not much of a concern anymore.
And she seems wounded on your behalf and says, "I see. I'm sorry then for your situation, if not for your... And I'm glad you are so resilient, in a way. Personally, I could never imagine my little boy being taken away from me."
That note.
And immediately as she goes, to tap.
okay,
And on
okay.
that note,
And
Max
on that note-
and
Yeah,
Charles,
do we walk in?
you walk in exactly on that note, and you can hear Charles say, "Fuck." And just walk over and say, "Hello, Mother." And the woman immediately brightens up and says, "Darling! Oh, I did not mean to see you here. What a lovely surprise. And you brought Bax with you. Hello, my sweet. Are you all right?"
Oh, it's you.
That's fair enough. Oh. Good afternoon, Sylvana.
Oh,
Hello, Bax.
Well,
you two know each other?
We
Briefly.
met just recently. Yes, briefly.
I see, I see. Well, Bax is always
Quite a
so
funny
helpful.
one, this one.
I know. Wasn't wonderful, isn't he? I'm so happy he's friends with my Trarrell. Darling, I think you have a smudge. And immediately she stands up with her handkerchief to try to get the smudge off his face, which is not there. And he goes, Mother, please, we have business. business to talk to you about, please. Yes, I love you too. Just let me. You know what to do. You promised. And he goes, yes, mother. Gives her a hug, and she like squeezes him.
Well.
And he looks at you and eye rolls, but still hugs her, and then backs away, and then looks over her. He's like, "You feeling all right?" She goes, "Yes, no, I've had a wonderful chat with Sylfania over here. You know, shared a lot. I told her how much I miss you, and he goes, "You did? I'm sorry. Right. Can we talk?"
How long have you been gone?
And she's like, "Oh, he's been gone since the morning, and I can't believe I haven't seen him since then." And Trial just does this.
Yeah, if you look at my face, you'll kind of be like the face of, yeah, this is normal. This is like...
So this is just straight up just helicopter parent right now.
I'm used to the shit. Trial, like, almost face pops and says, "Can we go somewhere quiet? Please, please, mother, quiet. Please, somewhere quiet. Private?" And she goes, "Oh, yes, of course, we can go to Brebin's office. She's quite busy now. I believe she has she stashed a Victoria sponge. I'm gonna get some tea." "Oh, how great!" Trial and his friends. And walks away, all bubbly and all happy, and Trial just looks at you, Sylfania, and goes, "Hello, I don't think we've been introduced.
Yes, hello there.
I'm Trial Falinel. I believe you've met Bax. He gets around.
I've seen it, yes.
Shall we,
It makes me sound like a completely different person.
Oh, no! And immediately he
it
blushes.
was merely a joke.
He blushes and he goes, I meant he makes friends easily. Oh, God. And he literally, like, puts his face in his hands for a second and goes, "It's okay, Trial. It's okay, just calm down, it's good." Right,
Mother is a bit interesting, I'm not gonna lie.
she is who
She's
she
a
is.
lovely woman.
She's lovely. She's very lovely. And I love her to bits. Yes, she's quite peculiar sometimes. And we should probably... and he looks at Bax, asking for, you know, an unspoken permission. Whether it's like, we should probably head over to the private room now.
Yes, let us go.
Very nice to meet you.
laundry, man.
Very nice to meet you, miss.
Yeah, I give out my hand to Sylfania. Once again, pleasure to meet you, Sylfania.
And then
I-
Trial hustles.
You already met me.
Yeah, hustles.
Yeah, it's like, once again, it's like gesture, being nice,
Oh yeah.
giving it a hand, like goodbye.
Yeah, at this point, Trial, you can see Sylfania.
Niceties.
Trial is trying to hustle Bax from all these niceties away to, like, a private area, and Trial seems flustered from meeting his mom, but also he seems concerned a lot. Your passive insight is pretty good.
Me?
Yes. Your passive insight is 18, which is very good. So you can read people really well from their vibe and how they're behaving. So you can immediately tell from just looking at Trial that he is uncomfortable because of his mom, but also he seems to be very distraught by some sort of like a different thought. In a way, it's an idea that is causing fear in him. And you don't think it's related to his mother, but you see him being uncomfortable and wanting to talk it over at some point, and he's hustling Bax away, who is unreadable. Seems to be pleasant in his dragon face. I don't know.
Probably say to him, like, are you okay?
To Trial.
I'm scared to ask this question. Yeah.
Yeah, you were burned once. He turns around to you and says, "Yes, no, I'm fine. It's nothing's going on. It's all good."
You sure?
Yep. No, we're good. I'm just gonna go help her with the tea. And he, the most awkward way possible, turns around and like almost robot walks into the back room. You don't even need to roll. He cannot hold a secret, dude.
I just turn around and say, it's just life. You know how it goes. And then I turn around.
I don't know if that's the case.
It was more like a bypass. It's life. Shit happens. Kind of like moves on.
Oh, you're just saying it is what it is.
Basically.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And as sorry.
Oh no, I was no fun.
So Bax, Trarel, and well, his mother disappear into a room, and you are left sort of in a whirlwind of things on your own again.
Me?
What does Sildana do? Yeah, after this.
What does Sheldona do?
This encounter?
Well, she's kind of just taking like a sigh after the mother walked away. It was like, oh, thank God. She's crazy. Okay, that's the answer there. She was getting kind of like uncomfortable like the whole time, just kind of like, I gotta like talk about kids now. Ugh.
This is why I abandoned my child. I didn't have to do.
Literally.
But what is Sildana doing? She'd probably ask Bags like, yeah. She'll return the bags and say, is anything been happening?
Oh no,
Like-
I've walked with them.
Oh, you've walked with him.
So he told you,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and disappeared into a
I
room,
was kind of like,
basically.
as I was walking away, I was like, it's just life.
Oh,
Don't worry about
okay.
it. And then I was like walking away. If you want something as I'm walking away, you can ask it then.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something right
Hi,
now.
Sebby.
Or Sherry. And then I probably just in that case, I finished my work today.
Mm-hmm.
I finished talking to this weird lady that I'm kind of like feeling kind of uncomfortable by. Which you know what? Should I roll my wisdom save?
Yeah, if you feel like
After
it's
that
uncomfortable enough, yeah, then roll your wisdom save.
Just, you know what? Just enough. It's just enough.
Yeah.
Oh. 13.
13, you just beat the DC.
Just.
Lucky you. So you're okay. It is very
I'm
like
very tempted though.
you're like you're getting on edge there with this whole idea of this extremely obsessive mother and how she like that's the moment you said you had to leave your child, she immediately thought like you were a leper and tried to get away from you, but then immediately as you're like, oh, I never knew my mother, her countenance changed and you're like, God damn it, fucking
You know what? For the hell of it, as I'm gonna go walk outside, and I'm gonna take one of the ciggies I got from the boy earlier.
Okay, so you take out one of the ciggies you got from
Yes.
Michael, the kitchen boy,
Fucking
in
hell,
episode
this
3. And what do you do?
I'm gonna just put it in my mouth, kind of just light one up real quick.
Okay, you light one up.
Feel like
It's quite easy
fucking
to like
goddamn this
get a
bitch.
candle, and for that I need you to roll a d4 because you are willingly, in a way, failing your wisdom save and succumbing to your internal
Two.
pressure. You had, I believe, was it a d4 or a d6? I think we went it up a d6 because you did a lot of like penance.
Was it a
and stuff.
D6?
I think it
I
was
think
a
yeah,
d6.
we went up. I think we did. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
now.
so the rule is you roll on a d6 now, and if you get a 1,
I rolled a 3.
okay, you're still okay. You smoke for a while, and you think I'm just gonna be here for 1 cig. I believe he gave you 3. You end up looking in. You have like you're almost done with the 3rd, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck happened? I just blacked out. Just kept smoking, and this feeling of frustration and emptiness hasn't gone away. So you've just spent these hours, and you remember that this is what usually happens. You think you're gonna have a momentary relief, but no, it's just the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Different day. So you don't go down a square, but Sildana is basically smoking outside a church, and people are giving you weird looks, and you don't give a shit.
That's right. Damn it! Hey, I'm on my break right now.
Yeah, you're
I
giving
did
people
my
like
jobs. I don't fucking give a shit. What? You looking at me?
So what? Okay, so Sildana is taking a long smoke break. I'd say that gives you a good 15 minutes to smoke those 3 cigs. Like rage
3
smoke.
minutes to go through 3 cigs.
No, 15 minutes to
Oh,
go
15.
through 3
Okay, I was about to
cigs.
say, bro. Oh,
Bruh.
that's
Some
right.
inhaling, like
Nah. They're thick
fucking
cigarettes.
That's
inhaler.
one cig I inhaled in one go.
They are thick cigarettes. And
Okay.
actually, at this point, I think it's a good time to take a short 5-minute break to, refresh ourselves.
Get an actual smoke break right now?
Yeah, get a stretch, actually smoke for
You
a
got a
bit.
craving?
I don't know.
Oh,
who's-
oh.
You a smoker, Natalie?
Me? No, God. Not with my two parents who are chain smokers. I've had enough secondhand smoke to last me a lifetime. Yeah, we're gonna have a 5-minute break. For those of you who wanna go refresh your drinkies, and we'll be back soon.
I gotta go piss.
Hi, everybody. I'm gonna go take a fat piss.
Me too.
And we're back. Hello. We're back from the break. We're back from
How a sandwich?
which we can't see, which is great. Man, I am starving, but it is fine. I'll eat after, cause.
Hello, starving. I'm Gabe.
Oh boy.
Hello,
with bad
darkness,
jokes.
my old friend.
No,
We've
I'm
come
just.
to haunt you again.
I'm just tired.
Is this the part where my character dies?
No, I don't have the energy to be aggressive right now. I might
Unless
pick up
it's
some
mad.
energy later.
I can start it up pretty easy.
Don't make me slap you, Bats. Okay. And I'm
Fucking go
back.
for
There we
it.
go. I'm back with my energy. So, to
Slap
recap,
gave all the energy back.
before we left on break, we left our individuals in this certain position. We have Bax and Trowel and Trowel's mom in a room drinking tea and discussing something. We have Sildana chain smoking outside of a church, and we
Yep.
have Ferdinand having a free dinner at once more at the fanciest restaurant in town because he just saved a dude's ass, and you know now he is willing to treat you, not knowing that you already eat there for free. And we will quickly switch to Bax.
He's gonna surprisingly pay less for his meal.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. We're gonna switch to Bax, and
Hi.
as you go inside the room, Teriani, who is Charles' mother, she is bustling around, getting a teapot ready, and she's chattering something. She seems to be excited and way more animated than before. Every few minutes she turns around back to Trowel and beckons him over to help her with something, and then immediately fixes his ears or these little decorations he has around his ears. He's like, Mom! Just can we talk? Can we talk, please, Mom?
Probably
I
did
need
that at the same time.
What did you do?
Go on.
I missed it.
Are we just doing like the ear thing at the same time?
So he's like, Mom, please, we need to talk. It's important. She goes, right, but never more important than a cup of tea. He goes, might as well sit down.
I'm just thinking doubtful.
As she
Didn't know
finishes
she was British.
fretting and giving you both a cup of tea with some biscuits, she sits down and says, right, well, how may I help you today? God, I like to be useful. she looks you over, and Torarl just sighs and looks at you back and says, you or I, just tell her.
Feel free.
Okay, so, Mum, I was in the library. She goes, again, darling, you really should go out more and make more friends. She goes, Mum, just let me finish the sentence, please. Let me finish the sentence. Okay, thanks. Right, sorry, I was rash with you. She goes, no, it's fine, darling. I have found something important, and I wanted to ask you about it. Remember when I was small? She says, oh yes, when you were really tiny. He goes, Mum, just please focus on this one point. You were telling me a story about some hags that you remember back in the day. Could you tell it again, or like, can I ask you some questions about that? And she looks at Trowel with this weird, bizarre look and says, a story about hags. Hold on, darling. Yeah, no, I recall something like that. But why? Yes, why? Why would you like to know? I mean, such a out of nowhere. I mean, do you want to know about them academically, or
There is a chance that there may be either someone using their magic, or they may be here.
This Teriani looks at you and holds her teacup and like puts it down and says, hags in Laudenborough?
Yes.
That's just not possible.
Well, dear Charles here, he found the information of language that was written in a hag's back that I discovered in an inn that was specifically maliciously targeted towards one of the innkeepers.
Was it?
Meaning
Which
that I
innkeeper?
wanted to investigate. Sorry, go on.
Which innkeeper? Was it Eris? Oh no. Is she okay?
Yes.
Will she make
She's
it to the
fine.
dance class?
she'll make it to the dance class. She's fine.
Oh, good,
Everything's
good.
okay. The curse is broken and everything.
Curse?
However,
Darling, you didn't go to the inn, did you? And he goes, no, Mum, just listen. God. Bax,
it's all me. He's safe.
I was literally at home. Do you not remember? She goes, oh. And she seems confused at this point. And immediately Trarel just settles down and goes, Mum, are you alright? She sort of looks down and says, and starts looking around a little bit dazed, and Charles immediately like grabs her by the hand and says, Mum, I have some questions I need to ask you, okay? I need you to focus right now. She turns and looks at you, looks at the both of you, slightly really dazed, goes, right, the hags story. Right, the hags story. You wanted to know about the hags. Right, well, I don't remember how I told it to you, but back in the day there were some really fun things about those nasty little things. I mean, they usually were considered pests. They never did anything too dramatic, you know, especially, you know, when they're on their own. When they're on their own, that's the thing. When they form a coven, now you have a problem. But it's highly unlikely they would even be in Esthara anymore. I mean, really, ever since, well, the portals to the Feywild closed, I think they just died out. They take their power from the Feywild. There's no way they could sustain themselves for centuries on Esthara. And, you know, with the Empire being as it is, if they were snatching children left and right, people would notice.
Well, the language was written in Infernal, not any Sylvan language.
But no, that's not right. Then it's not hags, because hags are creatures of the Feywild. They're creatures of chaos. They generally occupy an area. For example, a forest, a swamp hag or a forest hag would prefer herself a little bog and a little house, and she would sit there in that house and not venture outside this bog. And whatever wanders in is, well, rightfully hers. And that is how the law of the Feywild was working. That is how the Sea of the Glendraith dealt with it, which is normal, right? If you, for example, had a sea hag, she would inhabit some sort of a water source, and, you know, she would create her little lair, and if somebody started swimming where they're not supposed to, they'd disappear, but that's their fault. They ventured onto the hag's territory, but if you don't go anywhere near them, you'll be fine. That's the point. They were just pests in a way. Now, but they are creatures of the Feywild. They have nothing to do with the fiends or the nine hells or anything infernal. I think you might have.
Charles, could you tell her what you told me in regards to the language?
And she looks at Charles like,
Mother to shut the fuck up.
darling. And Charles
Are you trying to mansplain him?
he looks at her and goes, so I found a hex bag and the language inside was infernal. It was a sealed hex bag that cast a curse that I think was made by a hag, but through infernal means, which is what makes me concerned. And she's looking at Trial for a while and goes, right, if that's the case,
Damn,
then...
Sorry.
I don't know what happened there.
That's very scratchy.
That's okay. She
That was a mistake.
she sort of rubs her forehead, seeming a little bit more focused, but still a little dazed, and says, honestly speaking, I can't for the life of me think how that would happen. The constitution of the hags is the fact that they are from the Feywild. They use Feywild magic. They're Sylvan. They cannot use infernal magic.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
She looks at you, Bax.
For a second.
She looks at you, Bax, and goes, huh, well, that would maybe explain why. But even
I mean,
so...
it could be they are having some help. It's unlikely that, or maybe not, but it could also be, did they have any way of disguising themselves back in the day?
Oh, yes, of course. All hags have this way of disguising themselves as feeble old women to lure unsuspecting children onto the path and, you know, eat them and all that. They all have their own peculiarities, really. And you know, upon closer inspection, you could probably tell that this is a hag. Or at least
How?
I could always tell, and all the elves could always tell, but I don't know.
That's
I
fair
don't,
enough. How would
humans-
you be able to identify them?
Well, you know, if you look really
If
closely,
they were in the disguise.
if you look very closely, the movement, it is like casting an illusion spell. You're familiar with that. If you look too closely at an illusion, you notice that the shadow is a bit different from the height that the illusion's showing. You know, small things that you're supposed to notice about a person. And you know, when they were standing somewhere and you passed them and it looked like you bumped them, but then you really felt nothing. Things like this. Because they simply cast a glamour upon themselves to look like what they're not. But even so, they do not like crowded places. They prefer solitude and quiet, like the woods or the sea or a lake. They wouldn't go into Lortenborough.
Well, there may be reasons to believe that one may live near the lake and might have kidnapped the girl.
I'm sorry. There's a girl being kidnapped. What?
This may be a stretch.
And Trowel goes
This
like,
may be it. Oh, okay. You know
Just-
what?
No, who
Forget
is
about
it?
it.
Who's missing? Oh my god, it's not that lovely girl Becky, right? Oh goodness. She's trying
No,
so
Becky's
hard and
quite
people
right.
are so mean to her. Oh, okay, well, who is it then? Do I know her? Do you know her? And Terrell immediately goes, why did you say?
God damn it, Bax.
Regardless, could you tell me anything more about the hags?
So fucking stupid.
Before we go on a tangent. She'll forget about it anyway, that's why I'm just
Yes,
changing
Mum,
the
please,
subject.
just focus. And she goes, right, hags. So, as I said before, there's the forest hag, and she prefers to stay in a bog and lure people to her with songs and sounds of their loved ones to come along and wander and get lost in the woods, and then those hags, they like the taste of other sentient beings' flesh, right? They like cooking big meals for themselves and then gorging themselves in weeks on end. So they're the ones you really don't want to deal with because, well, honestly, you could tell it's them because they would stink a mile off. They don't know how to cook. The other hags, most familiar ones would be the sea hags. They usually inhabit the sea, but sometimes I've heard of some inhabiting quite large, like rivers and lakes and fresh water. It's not the water that's the case. It's more the amount of it and the whole place. Those are a little bit more nasty. They tend to really. You know, wild hags generally aren't very pretty. The sea hags are the ones that cannot really disguise themselves as well as the other kind, and they hate all pretty people for it, and anything that's beautiful and anything that's elegant, they really, really dislike. And most of the time, they would
Never be kidnapped.
they would try to. They wouldn't consume it, but they would try to ruin it in a way. That is how they go for it. So you said that there might be a sea hag in here? You think in the lake, in the river, in the Orphus River?
It may be possible. I'm not saying with an absolute guarantee. I'm just saying from what one coincidence to another, they could co-align. It's not, it's not for sure.
Goodness. Well, then that's a problem, I guess, because, well, that needs to be taken care of. But
I mean, I'll research it from the shadows, but I'll see how much I can get into it. I'm probably not gonna go one-on-one with the hack.
no,
Just to
of
say
course not,
that.
darling. You can't go anywhere near the river. And you too, darling. And she looks at Charles like, you stay home. You know what? You're under house arrest from now on. He goes, Mum, You know what? It's fine. Whatever. Never mind. Fine.
Don't worry
Fine.
about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm under house arrest. She goes,
He knows like 5 minutes later, I'm free.
yeah, she literally looks at him and says, you're way too pretty to go anywhere near a sea hag. Trust me. And
My son is so beautiful.
she looks at you guys and says, right, well, do not worry, kids. I will take care
I'm
of
like-
this. I will tell your mum, Bax, and she's going to take care of it because we cannot tell anyone else. We have to keep it hush hush, you know. Because if the order figures out that there's something nefarious going on, we are all screwed.
So, you know, best to keep it
Just gonna
quiet.
tear me a new one.
Yes,
swear.
well, you've investigated it. You found the problem, and now she can take care of it, and we'll all be safe again. So it's wonderful. I think she might actually thank you. If you want, I'll have a word with her. I promise.
No, you know what? No, don't worry about it. I'll talk to her if it comes to her.
Okay, but we both know your mother. She's only nice to me, because we're besties. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm giving my daddy a favor if it comes to it.
A lot of mommy issues in this campaign. I'm starting to realize.
It's not my fault this is happening, bro. It's the way
I
of the
wonder where this
world.
all just suddenly came from.
I don't know. Just so much mom issues. Cool. She basically makes you finish your tea and
Hey, an issue if she doesn't know.
yeah, makes you finish your tea, and you, Bax, you notice as she's talking about something, she would suddenly switch to a different conversation or like to a different topic, and it would appear so seamless to her that she wouldn't even know she switched to a different topic. And Trial at this point would, every time she'd do that, he would like grit his wrist, but he wouldn't stop her or do anything about it. And you start to figure out that it's getting worse, and she doesn't seem to notice that it's getting worse. But yeah.
Well,
I'd say she wouldn't let you go straight away. You spend a good 20 minutes just sitting there drinking tea with her to
no
finish up
worries.
your cups. And then after you're done, Trial is like,
shall we go?
yeah, right, we should probably go. She says, you're not going outside of the city, are you? He goes, no, Mum, no, we're not going anywhere near the river.
No, Mom, never.
We're just gonna go to Southgate and probably go have dinner at Eris's to ask her if she's okay. You know,
Is he rolling
Eris,
for that lie?
what happened with Eris? I'll make him roll.
Do it.
God.
It's pretty bad, but he might pull it off. His mom is currently dementia. Nope.
Probably, quite frankly, bamboozled.
Nope.
Just cast
Nope.
Greater Restoration. Easy.
Nope. That is a 6, and even though he does not have much deception, poor boy. Oh no, actually he has a lot of deception, but even that doesn't cut it. He just stands there and goes,
Interesting.
listen. I promise, I'm just gonna go to Southgate to check out with how Eris is doing, and then I'll go straight home. And she looks at him like... He then visibly shudders and says, Pinky promise, Mum. And she goes, okay, Pinky promise. Now seal it. And they seal it, and Trial just he's done. He's like,
what?
he has no
I like put a
self-respect
hand on my
left.
chest as well, and I go like, I'll take care of him anytime.
She says, oh,
If it
yes, of
comes-
course, Bax, I do trust you, but you're all such
No.
children. Honestly,
don't
this is
trust
too
you.
much for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, kids
Fright's
your
back.
age, kids your age shouldn't even be left out of the house. I mean, not until you're at least 100.
And then Trial's like, okay, we're going now. Let's
I
go.
mean,
Bye.
I'll probably
Bye, Mum.
be in a much smaller house at 100. Anyway.
And Trial sort of whisks you away from this whole situation, and his mother sort of waves at you and says,
Bye-bye. I'll
Take
see you.
care,
I'll see you.
Miss Darrell.
I'll see you at the end of the week. Tell your mama said hi.
and
Will do.
you hustle out of the church, I reckon.
I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
probably see me as they like come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you're finishing your sig, your last sig that you're feeling like shit, because that didn't help. These two bumble out of the church.
Hey, you two.
Me? Sorry,
Man?
like my character would be like, oh, sorry, composure. Sylfania, how are you? Because I was
I'm
probably
alright,
like in
I
conversation
guess.
with like, Travis, and you just go, hey, you too. Oh, I'm kidding.
You look
They're
like you
on
two are both about to get in trouble or something.
What?
Um,
No.
I can clearly tell you're lying.
Oh God, I really should get
No,
better at
no.
this.
Yes, you should. Can I come with you? I just need to get my
Yes.
mind off of some shit.
Sure, you can. We're going for a little bit of dinner, right?
Is that what we're doing? I was just making up an excuse, but I guess, yeah, we might as well. We could do that. Sure.
Great. Where are we going?
I mean, the best dinner in the city is, of course...
Oh, God, the Bell Tavern. Okay, fine.
Gosh, okay, what? Why are you so upset about that?
Okay.
Fucking
Let-
been
let's
there
go- let
once,
us go then.
nauseated.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
just,
let's go
I just, sorry, it's just... I was hoping it would just be somewhere different. I don't know.
Well,
It's
we
okay,
You know what?
it's fine.
I know of a
Go.
different inn relatively close. Oh, not a, yeah. Any restaurant as well.
Listen,
I'll find
it's
one,
fine.
okay?
It's fine. We can go anywhere.
I mean, we could just go for a drink instead. My mum still doesn't let me drink.
Sure?
Yes,
Jesus
we can go to the
Christ.
pub. Let's go to the pub. I'm going to the pub. And we are going to Southgate.
Yeah,
so
you got
technically,
a,
I did
you got a
not lie
spike of
to her.
energy suddenly there, haven't you?
Yes, we're going to the pub right now. And he sort of starts sauntering down the road, really excited to get to the pub.
All right. Well, let us go then.
well,
You're much invited, Sylfania.
Okay.
You get roped along to go to the pub. And meanwhile, at the tavern, where you are all going down to have some nice late lunch, because, you know, you've been walking around for a while, but the location, like, you're used to this place as well. Eris waves at you, with a welcome and gives you have a table always available to you. You know, they always have a reserved table for, a table for 4 in case the 3 of you ever show up. And so the 3 of you, and Francis is like, all right, well, I knew this place is the best. I didn't know they improved their service. Christ, it's good. And Luba is all happy about the menu. She's gushing about all the dishes and wants to try almost everything. And says,
Well, it isn't us paying, it's the Viscount.
yes, Luba.
Why do they have to be so stuck up?
Like, so what if you were born fancy? Ugh.
I'm
Yes, well,
honestly noble.
A lot of nobility does tend to have a spoon up their ass.
Francis is like, haha, I like you. You know, you guys really saved my bacon out there. I could have been in a lot of trouble, especially if I've been properly accused. Because, you know, I wouldn't have been put to jail for it because there's no evidence. But, and he looks at the 2 of you expectantly. You know what would have happened? Probably. Thankfully it didn't, but you never know.
Well, I could tell from just the very way she talked to you that she had absolutely no idea what she was talking about.
I know, it's like, honestly speaking, I was just trying to be nice. I saw the class, like, my dad is a locksmith, and he sometimes worked with jewellery, and so I saw the class was going, and I was like, that person's gonna lose the damn necklace, and it probably costs a fortune, so I was just gonna be nice and tell them. But then, you know, this is what I get for my kindness, and for trying to be nice.
Well, you did get a bag of money from it.
I know that, so that's why I'm not that pissed off, but still, you didn't have to be a dick about it. Right, so shall we order half the menu? I want half the menu.
Half the menu.
And the special.
Let me tell you this. I know the cook, and there's this recipe I told him about that he's been practicing lately, and it is great.
What you get around, my man? How long have you been in the city? For 2 days and you already know the cook? You already know the most friendliest and most charming lady? She's like, I've got a boyfriend. He goes, still, point stands. The most charming lady in the order who is all up for justice and not just being paid. She's like, that is very true. I'm very much for justice. He's correct.
I noticed that you had complications controlling the scene when everything got intense. If you wish, I can show you some tricks to demand attention.
Oh, that would be lovely. Because honestly, I've never been in a big city before. Job job-wise. I've always been assigned to a lot of the rural places. Now, finally I got a promotion and I have my vacation before I start my job properly. But I did not expect things to get out of hand so fast. I suppose a mob is just so many people.
And she herself is not a very tall person. It's just because she always floats, she tends to be the same height. But as she, like, steps down, she's almost a head below you. And she's like, I tend to get just smushed.
Well, think of it this way. You've witnessed sheep before, have you not? You've seen sheep herders.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. People are very much like that, except you don't wave a stick around and they'll follow what you say. You have to be very authoritative and demanding. If they're being rowdy, you demand their silence. If they're being agitated, you silence them with a gesture.
I see how this is going on. Okay,
As
do
You
you
literally
mind?
called people sheep.
Do you mind
Yeah.
if I take notes?
And she pulls out a little, like, out of somewhere out of her armor, she puts out a little, like, notepad and a pencil and starts writing down pointers. And, like, she's very studious. It seems she really wants to do this job well. But she is, you know, she's new at this, clearly. She's only a corporal. Even though it's a promotion, it's, like, one step up from just your ordinary grunt. So, yeah.
Well, stuff. I just give her the
Yeah.
general like information. Like,
you guys,
it's your posture and the way you talk and all that.
Yeah, Atan comes out, waves at you, you know, you order the special, he sees the lot of you guys and says, like, I got you. Goes in the kitchen, starts yelling, you hear, like, yes, sir! Michael screaming, and you can see Francis.
Don't
as-
flog me, sir.
Francis, as Atan was coming over, you Fervorand, because you're observant, man. You're looking around and you can see Francis's face light up, but he doesn't talk to the chef. He just sits there and looks at him like somebody who's been a fan of Gordon Ramsay for years and wants to talk to him but can't. And then Atan is like, walks off. Francis looks after him and says, "Man, is that Atan Montague?
Yeah.
Man's a legend. I've always dreamt."
You?
No, he's amazing. I mean, the stories told about him in Cakenworth is fantastic. Man, I wish I could go, but it's my dream to be a chef as well. Has he got a little
Well, I
lad
could
in
always
there
ask him
helping
if he's taking apprentices or something.
I probably should. Hey, thank you.
I mean, I know for one thing he most definitely has a position he could probably use a chef's hand in.
I didn't have much experience, you can. I never had the opportunity to go to Cakenworth because it's so far away and my parents don't have the money to send me. And, you know, at home, my mum, she prefers her kitchen. And, like, he starts making excuses to not why he hasn't done this before. But he seems excited about the position of a chef. You guys chat for a bit until the food comes, and Francis is very amicable but very average Joe about things.
I was gonna try and pawn him off into the fucking vegan store. That was my plan. I was gonna basically be like, yeah,
Oh, God.
he could really use a chef right now to take his spot at the vegan store so he can actually do some real chef work.
Yes! Oh my god. Beautiful. You still have a chance to do that. Francis is talking to Luba. Luba is talking to Francis. They're both really chatty. Conversation flows. The food gets delivered. You all eat. It's delicious. And about halfway through dinner, Francis is like cleaning out, you know, with a toothpick, some pieces of like roast meat. He's like, oh, this was a grand dinner that it was. Never had so much food in one go. I mean, I got lucky today that I ripped a shirt. I mean, I can mend it, but this much money. I mean, he didn't even count it. He just threw a bag at me like it was some sort of a dog. He was throwing a piece of kibble to.
It was their way of maintaining status in a sense, but don't really care about it.
Aye, I know.
They
Honestly,
had already been shot down.
Yeah, honestly, I think people like that, karma gets them. And these days, karma's been on the streets, so, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
So it looks around and is like, you people seem to be quite aware of what's going on. Have you heard anything about this?
About people watching around?
No, but about, you know, what's going on?
around here.
And Luba's like,
I
Are
like
you
the look you're
twitching?
making.
Are you having an allergic reaction? He goes, No, I'm not an allergic reaction. I mean to say, you know, the stuff that's happening in the city.
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific. There's a lot of things happening in the city, and to know exactly what you're referring to, we would require a bit more details, which I'm assuming you don't want to say right here in the dining room.
Oh, no, it's alright, it's fine. I mean, I'm sure no one is listening. Everybody's too busy with the food. Listen. And he's like, he just was waiting for the moment to try to conspire you two. He's like, so, I've came upon an interesting book. A book of tales of old, when in this land used to be a large forest, right? And there, in that forest, a coven of witches used to meet.
And you have this book?
No, not on me. I mean, I found it in the library somewhere. I was there because I was trying to take a sneak peek at Jessica, but never mind that. Anyway, I was just standing near the fairy tale aisle and it was there.
Don't lurk around women.
No,
people don't like being
I mean,
looked
I was
at.
going to invite her to the festival because she wasn't invited by anyone yet, and I thought I'd be first. That's not the point here. Listen, right? So, Luba at this point is just like being completely like, what the fuck is going on? And he says, so the witches, right? I wouldn't have brought them up if it wasn't relevant, right? So the witches, they meet in this wood and do their unholy rituals to summon power and rule the world and, you know, all the usual. But the fact is, I thought, alright, it's fairy tale, it's all good. But apparently, people have been disappearing in this city. And I know it's not the rapture, alright? Everybody says, oh, they've just been raptured, you can forget about it. But it was good people disappearing. I mean, or just leaving the city and changing their minds, like, out of nowhere. I've been researching this for months now. I've been asking around. I had a lot of free time on my hands, and I've been asking around people, alright? And I'm pretty sure it's the witch's fault. Has to be. They have to be back, or they've never left. Oh, maybe it too.
Well, if what you say is correct, it sounds like a very serious issue. Do you have any notes about people you know that have been acting strange in such a manner or have been raptured, as you say? I'm sure a fellow member of the Garda, and I gesture to our friend on the side, would be more than happy to at least look into the matter.
I have a question. What is this rapture thing that you all keep talking about? I'm very confused. And Francis looks at her
People
and
disappear because they're bad people.
at this thing. Luba looks at him like, where do they go? What?
That's the thing. If you're supposedly a very bad person, you're just poof, gone. You're raptured.
Is that normal here? In Edinburgh? Why am I hearing this for the first time? Why did nobody tell me?
Do you not look at the religious text?
It's not in any religious texts. This is a Edinburgh exclusive occurrence, and you would know this.
Oh. Well, I still say this as in, like, you probably should know about this.
She looks at him and goes like, I'm a paladin of the Holy Order. Of course I look at religious texts. And, you know, a lot of stories in them are very metaphorical. They're not supposed to be taken literally. Anyway, never mind.
Right.
Okay. So,
Not sure about that.
people have
I'm
been...
sure about that.
I'm fairly certain that with where this conversation is headed, Francis here would be more than happy to lead us to where he has his collected information so we can all, and I gesture to our Garda friend again, look at it with a more discerning eye.
Oh, no need for that. I have it in a notebook. And he pulls out a little notepad, puts it on the table and says, right, so, I've checked, I've cross-referenced. See, I know a big word. If I'm going to say this word to Jessica, she's probably going to come with me. But anyway, right, so, I found it.
Jessica
So,
works in our library, you say?
No, she was just there doing her papers. You know, she goes to the Scrape College, is where all the pretty girls go. And she's gonna come to, was it? Yeah, the other Becky's wedding. Not the Becky, but the Becky. So, you know. Anyway, right, so I've been looking around, and I think the first one that I remember was some sort of... Was it a kindergarten teacher or an orphanage matron? I can't recall. It was a while back. Almost was it 18 or 17 years ago? I don't know. I was just getting what people were saying, that somebody just went ill and went home to visit their mother. Sure, that's what happened. And a new kindergarten teacher showed up in their place. How suspicious is that?
Not very.
He immediately looks like taken aback, and he goes, right, okay, well, I have more. So he goes through some pretty obvious cases of people either finding a better job elsewhere or deciding their kid grown up in the city but they want to take them to the capital and deciding to move their family away. Things that you're like, okay, could be suspicious, but they are spaced. They seem unrelated. You get a nagging suspicion that this dude might be, what is it called? Conspiracy
Paranoid.
theorist, maybe. And he sees that he's losing your attention that he got with his first statement. He immediately says, right, well, if all of those might not be suspicious enough for you, how about Adelia Bladewalker? She's gone too, and she's been gone for just 4 days now.
You mean the blacksmith's daughter?
Aye, her. She is literally an angel walking the earth. She was not raptured, for sure. She did not tell her father where she went, considering how he looks like. And everybody's talking shit about her, so clearly something happened. She couldn't have just left.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this matter is being looked into. Not by the Garda specifically, but it is being looked into.
At this point,
Do
Luba
you
is
have-
like... Oh, sorry, you were saying.
At which point, the more concerning matter is, you know of her disappearance. Do you know where she was last seen, what she was doing, or... Since you are quite the rumor monger.
Aye, well, it's not rumours, I just collect information, alright? I've got a talent for collecting information. At this point, Luba stops him and says,
Hold on a second, somebody's been missing for 4 days and nobody's doing anything? What?
Well,
Shit is going on.
a
Pardon my French.
colleague of mine of sorts is attempting to do something.
Okay.
Though it's quite hard to really question the father. Seems pretty torn up about the matter.
Okay, well, fine, I'll go ask him then. Because, I don't know, people tend to speak to me. I seem to have a friendly disposition. Goodness, this is horrible. Like, is the garden not doing anything? Like, maybe I should probably go to my commanding officer and demand to know what's
Well, why-
going on.
Why would the Garda do anything? She was raptured.
This rapture thing, I mean, at least I have to ask them about it. They have to tell me if I'm going to be stationed here. I need to know.
Could you do me a favor since you're gonna go back there? Could you make a list of all the people that have been raptured so far?
Well, I'll try my best, but considering how everybody doesn't want to talk to me in this city, it's going to be difficult. But I'll try, okay? But
Throw your authority around. If you're above them, tell them it's their job to listen to you.
So, when I said I got a promotion, but I'm still below everybody here.
Hmm.
she
I'll
like
see if I
scratches her
can.
neck.
Let me see if I can't pull a few strings then.
What is this?
Okay, she seems a bit amazed at you, like,
Are you really like an undercover government agent? Is that what you are?
No, I've been bullshitting this entire time.
I look at her.
Everything I've said, even my name, is a lie. Not
I
kidding.
look her in the eye and I go. I just do this.
Okay.
And she seems extremely excited, but like goes quiet because you are extremely convincing right now with all of this shit. At this point, Francis is like, right, I don't know what's going on here, but you believe me about Idilia, right? About Bleedwalker's daughter. Right. So, one more thing I found out about the witches is that clearly they meet at the witching hour. Like it's called the witching hour, and that's when they meet.
When is this witching hour?
Alright, it's an hour after midnight usually, and because their original place of their power was the woods, they meet in the woods. See, logic right there. I should.
How
be
many trees are within
investigating.
the city?
How many what?
How many trees do you think are within the city?
Within the
What's
city.
the most? No. What's the most forested area within the city?
Probably the Fallenville estate. They have parks and such, but it's mostly they like their lawns very trimmed and very controlled and very handled. So they have like 3 gardeners working for them. Bloody rich.
Well, I mean, they're probably not working within the city, but if they have to go to the city, I would assume they would like something close to home, so to speak.
He goes,
Now,
hold on. And he looks after his notebook and says, I remembered something, and
Commander?
I think it's important. So, the last time I saw her, because I remember seeing her, well, I was looking at Jessica, but I saw her around when they were doing the laundry before the festival. I've seen her. She was there. And I was simply going to do my own laundry, just waiting for them to finish and then go with my own laundry. Was not. And he looks at as Luba is giving them this dirt look. He's like, I wasn't doing what you think I was doing. No, I was just
carry on.
just waiting.
Move
Anyway,
past the matter.
Jeff, Christ, honestly, I can't trust the idiot. He raised his head too high, the girl saw him and started screaming, so we had to run. Anyway, it was a mess, but that's definitely the last time I saw her. Near the laundry place. For sure. I mean, I was trying to just, not to get seen by Jessica, otherwise my chances of calling her to the festival would be completely ruined, but,
What time of day was this?
Oh, this was around, they went quite late because they had lectures that day, so I think they were there for a while. Yeah, they were there for a while. I think it was like sunset at that point already. But I mean, by the time we all made it back to the city and ran away from the girls and some boys got caught and got beaten up and whatnot, it was quite late in the day, and I think we all just went back to our houses at that point because it wasn't worth it. We had lectures the next day, but no one has seen her since. So coincidence? I think no. I think
not.
I think what happened was, during the commotion, one of the witches must have come out of the woods, grabbed her, and just pulled her away for their evil sacrifice. I am sure of it. 100%.
Okay, so this witch was watching everybody do the laundry all day. Once one of them strayed from the group, they were snatched.
Hey, that's the easiest way. I mean, the witches are powerful, but it's, I'm sure there was a lot of people there, and worst comes to worst, a mob. A mob can always overpower a witch and set her on fire on a pyre and all that kind of stuff. I don't have to tell you the folklore. You know it. Mm-hmm. The old wives' tales have truths to them. So, witches wouldn't just appear in front of people and say, hello, I'm going to take sacrifices to my demonic lords. No.
And you've been through the woods before?
I've had a walk or two.
And you searched it after the incident?
No. Should I have? Well,
by your recollection, a person has gone missing, and your first reaction is not to tell the Garda, not to deliver your evidence to the Garda. or even look at the area of the disappearance, but to tell me at the dinner table 4 days afterwards.
Well, to be honest, I didn't know she was missing for a while. It was like 2-3 days after I was really hungover and I realised, oh shit, I haven't seen Adelia anywhere. And then I started asking and nobody except for Becky will talk to me about it. And you know her, the moment I started talking to her, she wanted to punch me in the face. God, why is she so confrontational anyway? So she wouldn't tell me anything, and then I remembered that she must have disappeared then. Because, I mean, she might have gone home and then disappeared from there, but...
Well, according to the father, she most likely did not.
See that my witch theory, I mean, it's not a theory, it's a fact at this point, it proves itself. I'm right.
I'm
I'm
right.
correct.
Well, she might have fallen in a hole.
True, she might have fallen in a hole. But
You know, one of those random sinkholes, you know, it's just completely abandoned.
she's an extremely perseverance kind of girl. I think she did like cheerlead and she can tumble. I'm sure she would have tumbled out of the hole or just screamed really loud for somebody to come get her. I'm sure, but yeah, I still think it's
Well,
witches.
Francis,
Yes.
if you would be so kind as to borrow the book you found from the library, I would be very much interested in looking into it. You know,
Oh.
see if I could cross a few T's and dot a few
Sure.
I's.
Sure thing, I can
And-
do that.
And speaking of your cooking career, I'm fairly certain I could find a place Atan could use your helpful hand, if you're interested.
Man, can't believe it. You believed me from the get-go. You're about to get me the job of my dreams, man. Are you my fairy godfather?
No.
I am
No, I
Cosmo.
am your fairy godmother.
Oh god.
I'm your wish daddy.
We go all the way, baby.
Wish daddy. Yes.
Right. Please, I'm gonna have a short conversation with Atan, see if I can't have you acquire the role relatively quickly before I continue a further conversation with our lovely guest here. And I gesture again to the Gara because I've forgotten her name.
Luba.
Luba.
Yeah.
This dude.
He's like, right, that's fine. Great. Here comes Atan. Just, you know. And Atan comes over and is like, the food was good, yes?
It was
Make
very
good
much
food?
good.
Yes.
Atan, I have, well, not exactly news, but something you'd like to hear. If you join me in private, and I kind of like just step to the side.
Okay.
I gesture towards the kitchen, essentially.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. He goes back and looks at Francis, who's like expectantly just coming along. He's like, okay, he's coming too, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm like, Francis, wait. I'm speaking to Atan in private.
Yeah, he kind of goes and sits next to Luba, and she's like asking him more about the situation with the girl, and he really adamantly like witches, and she's like, okay, dude. Atan looks back at you, is like, so you know how to pick them, huh? Your first group was interesting. Your second group is interesting.
Here's the even more interesting thing, Atan. Francis, the extremely gleeful boy you saw sitting at the table, well, he would very much like to work for you, under whatever position you can give him. Which means that you
Bottom.
could, theoretically, train him to take over the vegan role in your friend's kitchen.
I know I could. That would be funny. But everybody knows Francis is a lazy asshole. Like, that is the thing. He keeps talking about going to Kicking Ward. Last 3 months, do you know what he wanted to do? He wanted to be a fashion designer. So he was trying to ask all the people on the high street to take him in to teach him how to make textiles. And then 3 months now he wants to be a chef. I mean, I need a kitchen boy because Michael he cannot handle it. I mean, he's a good cook.
He's getting too old.
No, Michael can handle the cooking now. I can trust him with some of the cooking. He just gets nervous when he has to wash the dishes. He's broken more dishes than I've ever seen anyone break in his life. But when he's near a stove, he's pretty good. So maybe I can get him to wash the dishes. But
You could call it something like chef's basic training or something like that.
Yes,
you
I
cannot
guess.
cook the dishes until you've cleaned them.
I mean, I asked Eris for another helper because it's just the two of us back there feeding the whole restaurant. But
God damn.
she ignored me. I told her to send a person in, and she said she did, and I didn't receive anyone anyway. So I'll tell her to just get Francis to come and do the odd jobs around the kitchen. That should help at least. But okay, I'll just have to watch him to see if he doesn't steal from the pantry.
Well, that would be a very quick end to his dreams then.
I mean, I'm sure after 2 months he'll get bored and want to do something else.
Shame. I was really hoping you could take off some of the plates off your hands, so to speak.
Nah, the reason why I help Oliver is because he's my buddy, okay? We drink together, we arm wrestle, but he's a mess, okay? So I take care of him.
I
'cause he's a
wasn't
mess.
referring to him specifically. I was referring to the amount of work you do in general.
It's true, yeah. No, he can help me in the kitchen, but I'll watch him. I'll have Michael watch him. That will be good for the boy.
Training for Michael.
Indeed, learn to order people around. He's too shy. He's gonna be eaten up in Kick and Work. They will chew him and spit him out. He's a good chef, but he doesn't have the balls. He needs to grow balls. At this point, a waitress
balls.
walks by like is used to Atan being like this, but for a second does a double take. He goes, just go. Okay.
Need the thick
It
balls.
would be interesting if you want to train Michael in being, well, bossy in the kitchen. You could tell him that any mistake Francis does, Michael will be responsible for him. So that should really kick him into being responsible for Francis.
He looks you over and says, "You do not have children. It shows. It's okay. I'll handle this. I know how to handle Michael. I've seen kids like him before. They need his kind don't need a harsh hand. They get enough of that at home. They need somebody to encourage them, but be strict but fair. So I think,
You know your kitchen best.
yes, I think it will be good. Thanks for suggesting it. It's just Francis. He's going to be talking shit all the time.
Well, I mean, nothing's stopping you from smacking his face when he does.
And you can see him grin. And as he grins, you can see why. He's so close to being actually like a full orc. He has this like malicious expression that some of the guests who are watching you are like, have a little double take. And then he's like, that will be fun. Yes. Good.
I'll
Okay.
let him know the good news then.
Great. And he shuffles back into the kitchen. You guys... Sorry, yeah?
Yeah, I just meet up with Francis, give him the splendidly good news. And
He's
then-
beaming. So happy about
Of
getting
course,
a job.
of course, let him know that this is like training period. He's not gonna be a full chef first. He has to prove his mettle.
Of course, yeah. He knows that. So he nods at you and then rushes over to the library before it closes to grab that book you wanted. Luba gets up and says, "Okay, well, I have a few things to ask at the precinct, even though it is supposedly my last day before my vacation. Hopefully I don't get fired, but we'll see. If I find anything interesting, I will come get you. But for now, this seems very odd. This whole thing is very suspicious and very odd, and I don't like it. Something going on in this city. And I'm going to find what. I won't tell anyone, by the way."
I go, thank you. I'm in room 7 something. Is the room numbered or?
Yeah, they're numbered.
I'm in room X, insert number here.
Yes.
feel free to come on by if you ever find something or
Oh,
will
of course,
find yourself
yes,
in
I definitely will.
difficulties.
This is very handy that you're staying here. I know where to find you. This is great.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Then have a wonderful evening.
you too. I'm gonna go pick up my boy who's probably drunk now, but okay. And,
You should probably give him one of these, and I kind of like go to the kitchen and I basically like borrow a good piece of bread he's made of. Like I'm taking his bread out on, and
He's like, no, yeah, sure, have it, that's fine.
yeah, and I like give it to her and like make sure he eats this so he doesn't get too hungover in the morning.
oh, yes, no, he's got a good constitution. He can drink as much as a dwarf, you see. He's quite
Oh,
big.
so 20?
She goes, he's quite big. Okay, well, I gotta go pick him up now. So, bye. And,
So big.
Ayo.
And flits away from the diner. And I'm gonna go
Lord.
switch to Sildana and Bax, who
Yeah.
are
What are we doing?
and Trarl, who are heading to the pub. You guys are going drinking. You guys are no food.
Party.
You had a sandwich. These two haven't had lunch yet. So they don't give a
Trarl.
shit. Eating is cheating. Trarl is like, eating is cheating, lads. Come on. And
Trell,
what?
you wouldn't mind paying?
Oh yeah,
Just
no,
this time
sure.
around.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I've
Like a
got money.
cheapskate.
I've got money.
I don't have money.
Bitch.
I accidentally used a lot of the money for the artifact that I gave my father. Please don't
Oh
tell
yeah,
mother.
that cool thing.
Please, I beg of you.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Yeah, it's fine. I can take care of it. It's good.
Thank you,
And
man.
he
You
goes.
are the best.
He leads the way into a pub called the Dry Boulder. What?
No, just go for it. Keep going.
Okay, no, I just heard and I'm like, is that a good or a bad I'm not sure what's happening here.
It's both, depending on what you think.
So you guys go into this pub, and it is, well, it's not really shabby. It is pretty busy on the outside. Like there's no queue, but there is a ton of drunk people already. It's barely getting dark, and people are already like puking on the side there. And basically, the place on the outside looks something like, it looks like a pretty big pub, to be completely honest with you. You were expecting like some sort of, it's still very dingy. Like it looks very, hasn't been washed, hasn't been cleaned for a while. Like the white stone is really white, it's kind of yellow now. And as you guys go in, immediately as you walk, a stool flies past you. Who's going first? Who's going first into the room?
Probably back, or no, Trial. Trial's
Yeah,
the
Trial.
most-
Okay,
He's
Trial's
pro-
gonna
he's probably
have
the
to.
most hype about it. I'm
He's-
following like
He's the
close
most
by
hype
him.
about it.
He's gonna have to do
I'm
a
last behind.
dexterity saving throw. And that is a 12.
Because
I mean, it's okay.
God,
He
imagine
manages.
He just came in, get his fucking chair thrown in his face, and I
Yeah,
have to deal with this.
He managed to dodge the chair. It clipped him a little bit on the shoulder, but he's fine. And the chair gets smacked on the wall, and like a dude just like pulls out a knife and says, "The fuck is that to me?" And the other guy's like, "I will cut you like a pig." And there's like, fight! There's just people just going around the corner. On the left, there's a woman fully just sitting on a man, and they're just all over each other. Like the chair is
Damn, that's
leaning
hot.
backwards. It's getting so intense. There's a bunch of these burly dudes doing like, not playing cards, but playing dice at a table and loudly yelling at each other. And behind all of this mayhem, there is a bar, and there is this dude who is cleaning a glass and observing all of you with this like sort of twitchy eye, and sees you guys come in and beckons you over to, let's get the picture of him, to get you to come inside and order a drink. And he sort of, as you come in, he goes, "You don't buy, you don't drink. This isn't a charity house, right? You come in, get a drink, sit down if there's a chair. What do you want? And Trial looks at him and goes, right, I will have, and he
Yes,
looks,
sir, I'll have a...
he looks at the menu and he goes like, would you like to have cider fucking beef with that? We're a pub. You get ale, beer, or whiskey. And he looks at him, I'll have an ale then. He goes, hey.
This is the
down.
salty spittoon. Only the toughest of the tough get in here.
How tough are you?
How tough am I? How do you know? I ate a whole bowl of cereal with all nails,
Oh my
without
god.
any milk.
You are so tough.
Right
Come
this way,
right
sir.
through, sir. Right
Right
this
this
way, sir.
Oh my god.
I have not seen that episode of SpongeBob, but I've seen that meme.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because everybody has
Anyway.
seen that meme. This dude just like looks at you guys and then sees some people like throwing chairs at each other, like, oi! No night violence, we don't want any fucking guard in here. And the guy's like putting the knives away and start
Fine,
punching each other.
fine.
And start punching each other and goes like, right, that's fine then. What do you two want?
So compliant.
No shanking in my bar, please.
What do you two want?
Ale as well. I
Right.
assume. Sylvania?
He pours out of the same jug that
Do you have water?
he gives you the dirtiest look. He goes, let me check. Crystal! And he's like, he yells back and there's like insanely loud.
Crystal.
And you hear, what? And he goes, we got water. She goes, what? How we going to a pub and ask for water? And he goes like, I don't know. I've been asked if we have water. She goes, we do. He turns to you, we don't.
Here's your water.
Mate, I was almost thinking like you get the pot water and he just takes it. Here's your water. There you go, like just into the water. You just see it swimming about.
Then an ale, then?
Good choice.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Fine.
That'll be 3 copper from each of you. And Trials like pulls out a gold coin. Do you have change? Immediately everybody turns around and looks at him. He goes like, how about I just keep hold of that and open your tab? Aye, alright. You can sit down over there, dear sir. And immediately as Trial walks around with his ale, he sits down, looks at you guys expectantly and goes, I've only tried elvish wine. Never tried ale before.
All right, I pick up the fucking cup and I like raise it. I lost it. Fucking stop. I
Words.
know.
Words.
I raise the cup and I say cheers.
Cheers.
And he goes, cheers to, well, why are we drinking to? The fact that a girl is missing. Or what? The fact that there might be terrible things happening.
How about just your mom's not here?
Yes, let's drink to that.
That's what you got.
And he drinks. Okay.
Bro, I was the first thing I was like,
is it-
that's what, and I'm like, immediately I was like, said that, I was like,
As,
chugged her.
and before they drink, I kind of just see them drink, and I kind of just look at my ale, just sort of hesitantly.
You do the classic of like,
No, not doing that. I'm just like,
you're just nursing that mug.
Yeah. I'm just sort of swirling it a little
Alright,
bit.
I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw, Max.
Already,
spit
it's
your
one.
drink.
It's like,
What did you get?
I said, no, I just said already. I'm barely drunk anything.
Yeah, already. What did you get?
Fucking.
Damn, bro, what is your constitution if you can't handle a cup of ale?
I don't fucking know.
Oh,
Apparently
fuck.
nothing.
Not very much.
Apparently nothing.
Pretty low. What'd you get?
7.
7. You and Trarel immediately drink. The moment the ale touches your tongue, you realize why he had to distinguish it from beer. Because beer has a set percentage. Ale does not in his world. And so, or legally, it doesn't. And so as you two drink, you can feel it burning your esophagus. And then Trarel puts it down and says, no, it's not bad. And immediately just faints on the table.
Oh dear.
Max,
Fuck.
you hold up a little bit, but you can feel your insides like boiling. And actually, I need you to give me another Constitution saving throw, but that's for not getting drunk. That's for a certain certain ability that you have to act up with reaction with a drink in your stomach. What did you get?
I was wondering, like,
8.
he spits acid, right? So how would more acid be bad
It
for
wasn't
him?
acid. It was really heavy alcohol, and it reacted. You can feel it reacting weird with your not with your
have
stomach,
acid
but with
diarrhea
your
when I go
acid pouch that you use to do your
Acid
breath.
pouch.
In my world, dragons
like a
have
little
acid
alcohol.
pouches, okay, and fire pouches, and
This
all
is
of that
dragon stuff.
good shit. Because that's where they do their breath weapons from. And you can feel it acting up, so you are gonna just spill acid all over sleeping Trarrell and unsuspecting Sylfania. You need to...
Wait,
You're gonna
I'll
barf.
be courteous enough to not hear them. Come on.
I need to what?
Bax
Mate,
is about
if you know something's
hurl.
coming up, you're not gonna spit at your friends. You're not gonna.
Yeah, Bax
Away.
is looking
Immediately
like...
kill your best friend for life.
Bro, that's acid that can actually kill people. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
Bax is
ensure.
literally
I'm
like
not
this.
gonna ensure to hit anyone.
All my wisdom, I would know right away.
yeah, no,
Oh
you-
shit.
Babe,
You
babe,
hear the
babe, you don't even need to hear it. You have held enough hair in bathrooms to know what this is before it comes.
I just kind of like sit up, I gotta stand up, and I kind of just kind of like, oh, are you about to?
You don't even need to ask him. You just step aside and turn his head away because to projectile vomit elsewhere. You've seen this shit before.
He like tries
As
to hold it in, comes out his nose.
are you trying to hold it in?
I'm trying to hold it in. I'm not gonna swallow my own acid.
Okay.
I've been vulnerable to
Give
it.
me your breath weapon, please.
That's a 30 feet line.
She's pointing your. Where are you pointing his face, Soldado?
Projectile vomiting.
Projectile vomit
Away from me.
across the room.
Oh, you. Okay. Let's
Of course,
see.
I'll hit like I'll probably shoot it into a fucking wall if anything.
Okay, you're shooting into a wall. Give me the damage for the thing.
Oh my god.
It's a good thing you paid with the gold.
Yeah, it does seem like it. Let me see. What's the fucking damage on
Does
that?
this happen?
I don't know why.
I'll make some mistakes.
All
Got
the
nowhere to run. 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay, you, Sylfania,
Right.
as you turn his
Yes.
head away from you to, projectile vomit elsewhere, his vomit seems very different to what you're used to. His vomit's melting the wooden and stone wall as he is throwing up at it. And it's not going in a line, it's going in a cone. Like it was meant to. And then you remember, shit, right, Dragonborn have breath sacs and stuff that the biology's different shit. And you're like, oh, good that I pointed him away onto a wall. And immediately,
Right, so if I get drunk, I can get I get a cone weapon instead.
the
will remember
proprietor of the establishment is immediately like, oi, what the fuck are you doing? Charles still asleep on the table. You're holding Bax's head by the hairs, just pointing it away.
By the scales, man.
Oh
That's
my.
good. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing to my wall?
It's just having a little accident.
Yeah, I know a fucking accident when I see one. That puke has melted my wall. That's solid stone, that.
Yeah, he's a dragonborn. They have, sacks for certain shit.
Can I just go and precipitation on it? Like
Yeah, you like
move that.
and it prestidigitates. The wall is clean now, but there's still like a little bit of a piece missing because it's been eroded. The proprietor sort of hobbles over, and you can see like he doesn't have a peg leg, but he is like his legs are very like rheumatic as he hobbles over to you.
He's penguin walking.
Yeah, he's like, he like puts his hand on the wall and touches it, like where the acid used to be, where it's gone now. He's like, Fucking hell! That's pretty useful. Just don't point out my property, right? Point it at those idiots. They never pay for their drinks, the cunts. And they're like, fuck you! We're gonna fuck you right back. He goes back to the bar.
Okay.
Why did you want something?
No, it's more like Bax was like, okay. Like he wasn't gonna question the fact that he said, "Oh, don't shoot it on my wall, kill people instead." That's like running in his head like for a second because that can kill people.
Yeah, well, he
6
doesn't know
damage
that.
on a regular civilian is basically like pretty much like half that.
So he hobbles back and he's like, I'm taking this as a deposit to fix the wall then. He shows the gold
good.
coin and puts it down.
All good. All good.
Keeps cleaning
Are
his
you
glass.
all good?
No.
Okay.
No, I am not.
Make sure you do not aim that at me.
I'll try not to.
I'm an adult, Mom.
Oh boy.
Kinky.
I figured with how old he is, he would be able to handle his liquor a little better.
No.
In my world, elves are babies until they're 100. He's
No.
mentally 14. Yay!
Mentally
Okay, at
14.
what point? At what point do they stop shitting themselves and use the bathroom like normal people?
Fucking a 25-year-old elf who's just like walking the street and just every so often just. Oops. Sorry, mother, you gotta clean that shit up.
Honestly, I mean, I could exposite if you want, but
What?
No,
How
I-
weird
no,
is it to like
you
for
don't.
like
So,
how weird is it for like a full-grown woman to be like dating like a 25-year-old elf or something?
it's extremely weird because they're mentally like they're 8.
Oh boy.
So the idea is, depends on how you're raised. So a lot of elves who were born in the Empire are raised at the same speed as everyone else, but their minds, because they're biologically are designed to live so much longer, they develop slightly slower at first.
So
But then-
he legally should not be in this tavern
No,
right now.
he should not be.
So
100%.
when elves are like approximately 8 years old, like, well, up to maybe 10 years old, they still wear diapers and shit
Yes,
themselves.
basically. And they don't bother going to school until they're at least 16 to start learning their letters.
Damn.
I mean, you did write to me that he basically has the maturity of a 25-year-old.
I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just imagining this like fully like this like 6 foot tall elf just in like a classroom filled with like toddlers.
Do
Just
you
having an
understand
argument over
why
toys.
Trarel is the way he is right now? Do I need
Oh,
to
I
say
understand
more?
very well. I look at him and I'm like, oh my god, he actually is just a child.
And he's like, Mom, leave me alone. I'm writing my thesis.
All right.
man.
Well,
Oh my god, he really is just
yeah.
a baby.
All right, Trell, come on. And I pull his like hand over my around my neck. And I'm
okay.
like, okay, yeah, come on.
Give me, if you're doing it on your own, give me a strength check.
Sildana, do you mind helping me? Just a little bit. I'm a little wobbly as well, as you might understand.
How triggering is this for me right now?
I
On
came
many
here
layers.
to relax. You guys are triggering me.
On many layers, I would like to say that on layer number 1, the whole drinking and the incoherence.
There's very clear alcohol in front of me. There's people getting drunk in front of me.
And there is a person who is clearly a child acting like one.
Whose mother I just spoke to.
Basically, yeah, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw now. With
boy, boy,
a disadvantage. Because
I
this is the second one.
Let's go.
I would like to tell you, Matt, that technically you got triggered first.
What do you mean?
Your projectile armor was triggered
That's a 7.
because you're a fucking pansy.
That's a 7.
Technically-
Okay, I need you to roll me the
technically he did.
d6.
Okie dokie.
I just passed out.
I rolled a 4.
A 4, okay. On a scale, you did fail the wisdom save. On a scale, it's not that bad. But you feel the sudden, like, this feeling of needing to put these kids to some other adult to take care of, not you, and to come back here to that ale you haven't touched. Because you feel, oh, like, this is way too much, and this is above my pay grade, these are not my kids, I don't know what the fuck I'm still doing here. I need to go. I need to take these kids to some adult that can, take them off my hands, and I'm gonna come straight back here. This is a thought in your brain right now.
I take the ale that I see in front of me, and I go over to the tavern keeper, and I say to him, I'm gonna be right back. Can you hold on to this for me? And I give him a silver coin.
He takes a silver coin, looks you in the eyes, and goes, "Hey, I'll see you here later. I'll have a cake for you." Puts it down under the bar.
You're angry.
Yep.
Oh shit! I clicked the thingy. Sorry.
I thought you were like being angry at him. Alright.
No.
You ruined my goddamn ale time.
Oh, indeed. Cool.
Anyways, yeah, I give that, and I go off, and I take these kids home.
Okay, you try to drag them home. You don't know where they live. It's funny.
Where do you live?
No. I mean, she's not exactly dragging me. I'm still conscious. I'm still somewhat fine.
No, but where does he
You
go
have
home?
frozen today.
That's
Okay.
you're fucking.
No, you're back. You're back.
smashed.
You're back.
You probably don't know your left from your right.
Yeah, you are very drunk.
Fucking.
I am the guiding dog here.
Yes. Through Bax like. Let's see, Bax. I need you to give me a d20 roll, and if it's an odd, then you're leading them to Trial's house, and if it's an even, you're leading them to yours. Because even in this drunk state, you're a homing pigeon. You know the route to those two places by the back. You always remember.
You know what? I would probably tell you. Let's go to your house, Bax, since I know what Trial's mother is like now.
Sure. I'll lead them to Travel's house.
Yeah.
No, your house. Bax.
I'm not saying that to you. I'm
You
just
say,
going
sure,
that way.
sure, we're going to my house. And you lead them.
His mother is crazy, Bax.
You don't know that he's taking you guys.
God.
He's telling you you don't know where any of them live. So he's telling you about.
but insight though, how he's deceptive. He's drunk.
I would-
Disadvantage.
Yeah, I would argue that Danny would have an advantage on insight.
All
considering
right, let's do it this
he's
way.
fucking smashed.
Give me a deception check with
Beat my
disadvantage,
passive insight.
and beat her passive insight.
What is the passive insight?
18.
18.
Good luck.
Fuck.
Nope. Yeah, he's like, you say, take me to your house. He gives you this look of like utter terror and says, yeah, sure, I'll take you to my house.
Your house.
Yeah. Yep.
No, listen, Dax. His mother is fucking crazy.
And my mother will destroy me. No, that way.
Listen, your mother is somewhat, I bet, sane if she lets you go out and drink and do all this other weird shit you've been doing.
Can't argue that.
No.
His mother is actually legitimately insane.
At this point, are you both carrying him? Like by the arms, or like how are you carrying him?
I'm on one side, he's on the other
Yeah.
side.
At this point,
Yeah.
Terrell gets up and goes, "Don't you talk about my mom."
Listen, you know what your mother is like. Shush, child.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
You shut your whore mouth.
No. She's not crazy. She's not. Just
She's
memory
not.
problems.
Listen, I know, but we're going to your house, Max.
Yeah.
You better direct me to your house.
Okay. We'll.
Okay, you know what?
You know what? You get
Wait. Hold on. How about this instead? I'll take you back to my room, to my hotel room, and I leave you there, and I'm just gonna go. Okay? Yes.
I don't get home, I'm as much butchered.
Trials just like, that
What is the
sounds
difference?
great. I like hotels.
No, we're going to my hotel room. Come on.
Okay.
I start dragging you there.
D&D.
Bastards!
You're taking basically mental 14-year-old who is drunk to your hotel
Yes.
room.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
Let's go with that. You don't have to
leave
go
with the best
far. The Pillow Tavern is nearby.
That's good.
I'm just gonna end this episode as a Ferveran coming out of the restaurant after having a lovely dinner, looks up and sees Sildana carrying a really pretty elf and Bax like half stumbling by his side, both of them clearly drunk off their tits. Eris is like looking at you, all being. And on this note, we'll end this episode because it's already 10:30.
Yeah, boy.
And we will continue the shenanigans that seem to never end from next time. Hope you guys.
I
Yeah.
love you. Mwah.
Hope you guys enjoyed. I forgot to say the announcements at the
Just came
beginning.
in and
'Cause
such an ends.
Right.
I wanted to go straight in.
I wanted to go straight into like a go back to the tavern or something.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
I'm just gonna
Well,
fucking
hey,
leave
next
your room
session.
after you leave. Like,
That's
hey,
gonna
no
happen.
reason for me to stay.
Who knows?
Hey, that's
but
up to
yeah,
you.
everybody, if you guys want to get thanks for the music and all of that, all of that's in the description and in the break and in the start of the stream. If you guys want to follow any of us on Twitter or Twitch, you can also find us there. The VODs will be this weekend on YouTube. And yeah, to see if you guys have missed anything interesting.
I'm kidding.
You can find me at your mama's house.
Oh, bye.
Yep.
Oh, bye.
All right.
Underneath
Bye.
your bed.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.